All right, we are live. Welcome to Night Screams. Today, we are going to continue the conversation about A Nightmare on Elm Street and where we think that the property should go. And we're going to just dive into some predictions and theories of Halloween and some Scream Six theories. It always leads back to Scream, so we got to sprinkle it in there somewhere. So, but I have the pleasure of having a guest on my channel tonight. He's a good friend of the channel. You know him as I shot him 6 times. His name is Marcus, and we're gonna go ahead and bring him in. What is
What's
up,
going
Marcus?
on?
Welcome.
What's up, man? Thank you for having me again. For part two. Let's get
Yeah,
to it, man.
2 in 1 day.
Yeah,
2 streams in
yeah,
one day,
man.
man.
Yeah, man. I
All
mean,
right.
I'm telling you, especially with these live streams, man, we've all been really killing it, man. We've been putting a lot of hours in with these live streams.
Oh, no doubt, man. No doubt. For sure. Like today, man, I felt like our conversation kind of got cut short because I had some stuff going on
Mhm.
and we didn't get to really finish up everything. But man, I was definitely, time that's how time gets away from you, man, is
Mhm.
whenever you're
Yep.
you're you're very invested in the conversation and man, next thing you know, 4 hours are gone, the whole night's gone.
Yep. It's a fact, man. Time does not wait, man. It doesn't.
No, it definitely does not, man. Man, refresh me of what we were talking about earlier. What was the last thing we were talking about? Were we talking about Scream Six and Sam?
We Yeah, we were talking about the whole Sam theory, etc. Like how they left, in my opinion, they left breadcrumbs in Scream 5 as to where you could eventually, if they wanted to, turn her into a killer, they could, as well as the whole Cindy being her mother theory, all that good stuff, all that juiciness and all that, man. I'm telling you, I think if they really wanted to go that route, I think if you go back and really watch Scream 5, you'll see how they set the table for it. I every time I watch that movie, I just is like something up with her, man. There's something up with Sam.
Yeah, she's definitely not all there. And whenever she left Nev and asked, "Am I ever going to be okay?" and Nev says, or Sydney says, "Eventually," and
Mhm.
she starts to walk away with her sister. She glances down and still sees Billy. He's still there. He's still, he hasn't gone away. So I wonder how they're going to implement that in Scream Six because I asked Skeet Ulrich about the possibility of him returning for Scream Six, and he just, he says he just doesn't know. But I don't know how you would continue with Sam without bringing Skeet back in some way. I know it would all be in post
Yeah.
production. It'd probably be the last thing that they plug into the movie, but it would be a shame and a waste if they just don't even touch on it. Like if they write something in there and say, "Oh, well, I've been on my medication. I haven't seen him in a year," or something
Right.
like that. You know,
Right. Yeah, because we seen her even taking her medication, and she's still seen him.
yeah,
So and that's a lot of things. I really would like to see what type of medication she really is taking, you know, because I mean I tried my best to get it like uploaded, as best and zoom in as I could, but I got as close as I could to that pill bottle. I mean, I know some movies, they could obviously everything could be different than what we see in terms of pill bottles, the lettering on it, what we see in real life. But when I got a glimpse of, that pill bottle, I didn't see much lettering on that pill bottle at all. You know what
yeah,
I mean? So, I mean, and I feel like this, I mean, the medicine, it obviously doesn't really work because, like I said, me and Bob have went back and forth on it because he says, the medicine can make her forget, where Stu's house is and all that stuff. And I said, okay, well then, if that's the case, there should be no reason she knew where Dewey lived. No,
hmm
no reason at all. After being gone for 5 years, and mind you, Dewey didn't live in the same big old house that him and Gail lived in before. They had moved to New York, and then Dewey moved back, and we see him in a trailer on an old dirt road somewhere, in a trailer park type place. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So, and Bob had made the argument that, what if well, basically Richie knew where Dewey lived because obviously he had been probably there in Woodsboro casing it with Amber. And I'm like, okay, but then wouldn't Sam question that? Like, how did you know where Dewey lived if you've never been to Woodsboro? You know what I mean?
exactly,
And
yeah,
stuff like that. So I definitely see a lot there with Sam. I mean, I don't think it's too far fetched. I mean, she is the daughter of Billy Loomis, so you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like, and she would she easily she has a lot of motive because she's she didn't find out who her dad was until she was 13. Um, you know what I mean? If Cindy is her real mom, resentment, you know what I mean, towards Cindy for just giving up on her and, just giving her away. Like, there's definitely a lot of possibilities they can take with Samantha's character. I'm interested to see what's going to happen in six. And with Skeet, I did see that as well, that he said he doesn't know if he's going to be in it. I agree with you. That would be a total waste. I think you have to have him move forward because my thing is this: even if you do have her not be a killer, and basically you have her basically like come out of having this stigma against her, and she like basically is the real new Cindy Prescott, and she's going to be like a heroine. It would make sense if you still see him there, but then slowly start to taper off.
Yeah.
Slowly start to taper off in her mind. If you just don't bring him back, and then in this one it's like, oh yeah, well, I'm on my medication, or I got a new medication, so I don't see him no more. It's just like kind of cringy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like a waste of time. Like, why even introduce it if you're just going to do that, you know?
Right.
And I don't has Skeet put out anything? I haven't seen anything about him mentioning about Nev Campbell, and I know Jamie and Matthew have, but with
and Emma Roberts and Jasmine Savoy Brown.
Yes, yes. And that's another thing I want to talk on is Emma Roberts. Wasn't she like she was spotted like 20 or 30 minutes away from the actual Scream 6 set? So there's a lot of speculation. Maybe she has something to do with this movie and they're just kind of keeping it a secret.
Well, Craven actually did a video earlier, and I actually already seen some of her interview that she had did. She was touching on Nev and all that. And then they asked her, what horror movie would you like want to be in or whatever in the future? And she didn't say anything but Scream. She said, I feel like I'm not finished with Scream. So she said if there was any horror movie she could go to or go back to, it would be Scream. So I think it's kind of ironic how she says that, and then she's 30 minutes away, you know what I mean, from the set. I think that's pretty interesting. I mean, much like Craven said, I do believe that she died, but if you can make it to where it makes sense, and maybe the defibrillators didn't do what we thought it did to her, didn't do that much to her brain like we may have thought, and maybe, just maybe, in that split second when it shows that her eyes are gazed over and she looks dead, maybe obviously when the paramedics, the nurses and all that come in, they go to take her back to the room and see if they can revive her, and who's to say they don't?
Yeah.
I mean, that girl went through a hell of a lot of punishment, and she still was still kicking. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's not impossible, but I do think it's more of a stretch to bring her back than it would be Stu Macher.
You think it'd be more of a stretch?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do think it's a little bit more of a stretch, just because, like, we didn't get to see, like, one, we didn't see Stu shot in the head, and we didn't get to see his eyes gazed over. Her eyes looked gone. Like, she looked gazed. That scene reminded me of kind of how Mrs. Loomis looked at the end of 2, before Cindy shot her in the head.
Yeah.
Now, you can make that argument if you want to kind of homage to that, because remember when Cindy shot her in the head, Mrs. Loomis was obviously still alive. You know what I mean? She did that last little twitch or whatever. So maybe, just maybe, if you wanted to kind of reverse that with Jill, you could, but I don't know. It's interesting though, for sure, man. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Was there anything? Because I was trying to figure it out. Is she working on? Is Emma Roberts working on anything right now that might be being shot in Canada, or does she reside in Canada?
You know what? I can check this out right now, real quick, and see what we find.
Yeah,
let's see.
Because honestly, with like bringing Kirby back and everything, like I always said that, like, with us getting that bad news about Nev Campbell not being involved and she turned it down, well, I felt like that they should have held off on that Kirby news until that came out, like just to kind of heal our wounds a little bit, because now we're like on a down, and we need something to bring us back up. But if they got more up their sleeve, like with with Jill coming back, that's going to get people interested and curious and like what's going on here. Like maybe this one is more connected to 4 than we think. You know.
Right. Right.
Um,
I mean, even Craven touched on that it wouldn't be far-fetched if they made it make sense. You know what I mean? For her coming back, just for the simple fact is Kirby is going to be in this movie.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I do think that that's interesting. Now, I did just look up the last thing she had was called Abandoned, and it just released June 17th. So I don't know if maybe she's there for like promotional, or promotional, like promoting the movie or
Mhm.
whatnot. But I didn't see any other projects that like could she be possibly like producing or anything or filming in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's very much possible, and even if she's not the original idea, with her going on record and saying like I feel like I'm not done with Scream, and they're
Hmm.
that close, they could contact her anytime during this filmmaking and being like, hey, we want to write you at the end. We want to write a scene with you, and you come over and pretty much play with us. Like let's do this. Let's mess with people's heads for a minute. Let's see what we can do and see if it looks good on screen. And
Yeah, man.
and and she's already game, so why not? Let's just see if it would work.
Exactly.
And
Right. Exactly. Why not?
yeah, yeah, that'd be super crazy. Honestly, I'm nothing's for certain, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna do something like that. Like they're at least thinking about it. If
Hmm.
it's not like a main focal point in the movie, then they are probably going to at least try to get one scene shot with her and see if it works and see if they want to put it in the actual theatrical cut,
Right.
because
Right.
I mean, honestly, and they could just tease it. It could be a deleted scene on the Blu-ray,
Mhm.
which I wish we got more of. I feel like I want the director's cut. I want the unrated cut. I want to see
Right.
everything. Um,
Right.
I wish there was a
Remember,
way.
remember, Scream 5 had apparently what 30 to 40 minutes worth of content they didn't fit in the movie. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So who's to say if maybe they could have incorporated her that way somehow? You know what I mean? Or gave her some Easter eggs, in some of those scenes. We don't know. You know what I mean, and stuff like that. But it's not far fetched to see that they can make it work. I think if they come up with something like you said, have her shoot a scene or two, maybe write a little story in for whatever, it could work. I wouldn't mind it.
yeah, yeah. It'd be crazy if they leave the movie off like that. Like it does like a flashback and it shows her getting like having another defibrillator, like she coming back to
Hmm.
breathing in the hospital, and then that be
Hmm.
like the ending of the movie, and then we're like, oh wait, what happened back then? Now we gotta go see the next one, because Scream just doesn't leave off on cliffhangers. They never have, and I always thought that it would be kind of
No.
cool just to have something to where like someone gets a phone call at the end being like, hello Kirby, or hello
Mhm.
Nev, or Gail, or whoever, and then the movie just shuts off.
Yeah. It just
That's all you
cuts to the
need.
credits. Yeah,
Cut.
yeah, I don't mind that at all. In my opinion, I know a lot of people, especially traditionalist Scream fans, aren't on board with it. But that's a way you get different and keep the whodunit factor, up to an all-time high. Because now you're going into the next movie like, who the hell was that making that phone call at the end of the movie? Now we know we
Yeah,
have a killer that isn't dead and making it to the next movie.
exactly. Exactly. Um, tonight, I don't know how big of an audience we're gonna have or anything like that. We're going about 14 minutes. But I can go till about midnight. I don't know how long you can go tonight, but
Yeah,
that's probably about what time I got to get off at least, and we'll just play it by
yeah,
ear from there.
okay.
But we do have Dino in here. We got to saying, what's up, guys? Hope y'all are doing well.
What's up,
Yeah,
Dino?
yeah. What's up, Dino? Doing well, man. Glad you're here. I've been hearing this a lot, and I appreciate it. I hope you're feeling better, Destin. You definitely sound like you are. Yeah, I am. I feel like I'm alive now. So yeah, thank you, thank you. I think
That's
everybody's
what's up.
uh, uh, thoughts and prayers, they all were answered. So thank you so much, everybody. I mean, I had so many people hit me up on Instagram and everything, man. Like it was kind of
Right.
overwhelming, but it was awesome. It was so nice.
Yeah, like I said, that night of the Stu Macher, when I first turned it on, once I got back from helping my buddy move, I'm sitting there watching it and I'm like, wait a minute, where the hell is Destin at? I'm like, I
Yes.
seen him all the way leading up to the trailers and everything, and I'm like, something's not right here. And then the next day I found out, was like, everybody was like, oh yeah, Dustin wasn't feeling too well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And all that stuff. And I was just like, oh, okay, gotcha. And stuff. And then I remember seeing you in your one live stream, I think it was Monday or
Mhm.
whatever. And I came in and was like, yeah, glad to see you're doing better and stuff, man. That shit sucks.
Man, it kicked my ass, man.
Yeah,
And I'm
I'm
still like,
sure.
I still got a little bit of a cough and a little bit of pressure, and stuff. But I'm at least I'm 98% better.
98%.
Yeah,
I know that's right, man.
yeah, for sure. Dino also says, I gave an ending idea on Craven's channel that I'd like if everyone thinks it's over and ends up killing one of the survivors and stares at the camera and it goes to black. You mean for Scream 6? I'm sure that's what Dino's talking about. Yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, what, killing everyone ends up killing?
One of the survivors.
Oh, one of the
One,
survivors. Yeah.
yeah,
It stares at the camera and
and it,
yeah,
and goes to black. I mean, it's not bad. I feel like that kind of would be too much reminiscent of Halloween Kills, and I think that's what a lot of people didn't like, is that ending with Michael staring out the window and then it just cut to the credits after killing Karen and
yeah,
stuff. Like, I mean, I like I said, like, man, that phone call at the end would really, really be something. That would be a nice touch.
yeah,
That phone call,
yeah,
especially okay, we know this for a fact that going into 6, they already was talking about the possibility of having 2 scripts, one for with Nev, one for without Nev. I mean, so we don't know if for 7, I mean, I hope for Nev is that they didn't burn the bridges. I hope they didn't burn the bridges to where she doesn't want to come back at all, or at least come back to the table. You know what I
hmm,
mean? So maybe with Nev, the script without Nev, maybe this was the backup plan. Maybe this was the backup with Kirby Reed and Jill Roberts.
yeah,
I mean, we don't know 100% obviously, but I'm with Emma saying what she said, and the fact that she's 30 minutes away from set. Where there's smoke, there's fire, my friend. And I
yeah,
don't know, man. I'm starting to feel like this was their backup plan all along. If they couldn't get Nev on board, okay, this is the route we're gonna take. We're bringing Hayden back, and we're gonna find a way to somehow incorporate Jill into this movie, and we're gonna make it work.
yeah, most definitely. Especially with Kirby, man. Like, I really think that it's new news to us for Nev Campbell not coming back, but they've known this for a minute, and
Yeah.
it just at Monster Palooza, it just kind of went like it spread like wildfire, because she
Hmm.
just said, what does she have to lose? She's just like, no, I turned it down. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be in it. And then it's like,
Right.
oh shit, like, and
Right.
so now they, if Kirby was their backup, they should have waited for that, until
Yeah.
that drop, so it could heal our wounds a little bit. Like it just,
Yeah.
and now,
Yeah,
we don't.
because we had the assumption that Kirby obviously was going to be in it, that Nev obviously was still going to possibly still in somewhat capacity be in it as well.
Right, right. And then with Dewey not being back, man, think about the things that you could do with Dewey. We could have more focal, we could be focusing more on Gail and Dewey, maybe
Mhm.
rekindling their relationship and trying to come back. You know,
Mhm.
that could be
What's interesting, it's interesting you say that, because I was watching on Beyond the Mask. I don't know if you ever saw his channel. He does
oh
like
yeah.
everything
Yeah,
screen
I'm
related.
subscribed. Yeah.
And he said something about that, like the original Kevin Williamson Scream 6 script that him and Wes wanted to proceed with after Scream 4 was basically set around that setting, focusing more on Gail and Dewey, and Cindy was going to be a lot more in the background, and she was supposed to be a professor at this college, and Jill Roberts was supposed to be alive and stuff like that. Like, basically how they were going to do Jill Roberts was she lived or whatever. I don't know how Cindy would have like not remembered. Maybe they would have maybe had maybe some type of amnesia from that night. I don't know how that would have worked, but apparently Jill was supposed to be alive, but she's at college and she's obviously still a Ghostface killer, but somebody knows who she is. So now she has a Ghostface killer coming after her or
Yeah.
whatnot, and all that crazy nonsense. But that was supposed to apparently happen. That Dewey and Gail were supposed to be the main focal point and stuff. Like, now, I want to ask you this real quick, man, because I did a video about this, and I feel like if they kill Gale in this movie, it really, or at least Gale or Kirby or even both. I did it, especially for Gale. I did a video saying that how the new Scream trilogy, especially if we get a seven, could be an anthology series of sorts for the OG3. Because you got five, where Dewey was the main focal point of out of the OG3. Now Gale's going to be somewhat of the main focal point in Scream 6 out of the OG3. If they kill her off, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. Now, even if you don't, obviously, you can't kill Nev if you bring her back. She even said she won't stand for it. But now what you do is lead to the assumption that could Cindy Prescott actually be killed if she's brought back? You know what I mean? Even though a lot of us would know that's not going to happen, it would keep us guessing because it's like, well, hold on, look what Radio Silence did to Dewey and Gale. You know what I mean? Like, and I've always thought that that was a possibility, man. And I think that it is a possibility. Gale's going to die in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a big possibility too. I think it's honestly, are you a big Team Gale person? Like do you feel like her time, she's overstayed her welcome, or do you feel like you don't ever want her to die? Like how do you feel about that?
I'm 50-50 with it because I do like Gale. I've always liked the character. You know what I mean? But at the same time, all good things must come to an end at some point with certain characters, and she's one of them. Because if you really think about it, and she even said it herself at the end of 5, this was all her fault. If you really think about it, if she doesn't do her investigative work and try to prove Cotton innocent, who's to say if we ever get, the story that we got? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If she didn't snoop the way she did, and then on top of that, making the Woodsboro books, making a stab movie, that kind of somewhat spawned a generation of killers. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So she's just as responsible to a degree as the killers are. So it's like, I mean, I hate to see it because she's another OG character.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I mean, this is Radio Silence's universe now. So I'll say this, it would not surprise me if they did her in. Do I want to see it? I'm 50-50 on it. I wouldn't be mad, and I wouldn't be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I felt like that Dewey was the wrong one to die, because like I feel like the heart of the franchise was just ripped out. And I know that was the thing that's what they wanted to do, and they're taking risks and stuff, but still, like I still wanted Dewey. Dewey has always deserved better. He is,
absolutely.
He is like survived out of pure luck. He's gotten his ass kicked, several times. And that's the lovable nature of Dewey. And now in this one, he's taken more seriously in Scream 5. And then they kill him off. And it was just like, no, let's keep on building on this. And maybe Gale passes away, and let's have Dewey for the next film. But honestly, like I don't run it past them that they will off Gale in Scream 6. But I am only okay with it if they're for certain, and they already got it in contract to bring Nev back for 7.
Okay.
Because think about going into 7 and we don't have anybody. Like that's risky
true.
one, Unless we maybe have Kirby, if she survives this one. But can we honestly say Kirby and Gale and Sam and Tara is going to survive out of this one? I mean, they could. And Mindy, and Chad. That's a lot of characters.
That's a lot of characters.
It's a lot of survivors.
And I've read an article on Screen Rant that they were talking about how, especially with all the cast members are going to have, that you got to trim the fat somewhere. You know what I mean? And I honestly been thinking about it. I think they're both, Kirby and Gale, are going to die in this movie.
You think they're both going to die?
I do, man. I have a bad feeling about this, man. I do. I have a really bad feeling about this. I feel like, because obviously we know, because think about this too. If we're going on the notion that they're going to kill off the legacy characters, well, wouldn't you almost have to kill off Kirby too? You know what I mean? If they're going to really make it their own movie, I do agree with you that you have to have Nev on the back end for that payoff.
Mhm.
especially in 7 and stuff. But it would not put it past me if they said, you know what? We're going to subvert expectations and we're going to do stuff that you didn't think we're going to do. And we're going to break every single rule and we're going to kill everybody you love. You know what I
We're gonna
mean?
break your heart.
Oh man, like and just like they
Oh,
did with Dewey, man. Just like they did with Dewey. And
oh,
and so many ways now Kirby is kind of like that Dewey character stepping in because she's the lovable character. She's got a mixture of Dewey and Randy.
yeah.
She's the lovable character. You know what I mean? She's spicy, she's got some spiciness to her, etc. And if you kill her along with Gale, see, a lot of people, I think are 50-50 with Gale. But if you kill Kirby and Gale, ooh, you're butchering people right there, man. Like, oh, but I think they're gonna do it. I do. I just have this weird feeling that they're gonna pull that off, and I'm even growing even more suspicious that Emma Roberts is gonna be Jill is gonna be the one to do it in and do the deed.
Dang,
I,
man.
think about it too. It would make sense because she didn't finish the job on Gale or Kirby.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
So she'd be killing two birds with one stone. Much a nice little homage to Mrs. Loomis.
Well, here's a question for you and for everybody in the chat that's here, and I appreciate everybody. If you are here, just smash that like button. It really does help, and subscribe to Shot Him 6 times. His link is in the description below. It's just a click away. Really great content over there. If you love Halloween and horror, makes really good stuff over there. But my question for the chat and for you is like, okay, we're going into Scream 6. And we know we're going to be saying goodbye to at least somebody or a bunch of people. If you had to choose Kirby or Gale, who could you say goodbye to the most? Who would you rather see
Gale.
bite the dust? Gale. Okay. Why?
Gale. Because I mean, we've had Gale in what 5 films now. Kirby
True.
only got her 1 film, and she kind of would fit more in with the times, especially with this age group of characters, as that new leader of the new generation type deal. If they don't kill her off, so I can't see Gale really being a leader, a leader figure much. You know what I mean? Gale is just too much into herself. You know what I mean? Like you even see it how her dialogue was with Samantha. After hey, new girl. You know what I mean? Like just kind of being snappy. I can see Kirby, especially given her experience and that she's closer to that age and she is closer to Samantha's age, that she would resonate more with this group.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think it's time to let Kirby, don't just bring her back, especially don't kill Kirby in an opening scene or something like that. That would be a waste.
Whoa. That right there. I mean, I think that right there would really set a sour tone for the entire movie if they did that.
Yeah, me too. At least she needs to breathe for a little bit. She needs her time to shine, maybe survive this one. If they do take her out, make it at the very, very end, or something. But at least she has like this arc, this redemption, like this.
Yes.
Like Jenna said, like I really do think that they have something special for Kirby in this movie, and I'm really curious to see it, man. But like for me as well, it looks like in the chat, like people are saying Gale as well. Vampira's Coffin, Gale, Adriano, Gale.
Sorry, Gale.
Yeah, Adriano, he's from Brazil, all the way from Brazil.
That's what's up, man.
Glad
Thank
you're
you
here.
for watching.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
Hell
welcome.
yeah, man.
Welcome. We also got Screaming for Conrad in the chat.
What's up, Conrad?
Yeah, always great to have Conrad. He's awesome. Caleb Jenkins, how are you, my brother? I'm doing well, man. Doing a lot better. I hope I sound and look better. Like I'm alive. He's alive. Scream for Conrad. I'm a big fan of having Stu as the leader of the cult of Ghostface ID. Yeah, we talk about that a lot on the channel. I think a lot of us agree with that. Like we even touched on that this morning. On the episode of Scream with Your Coffee, and man, like that's the thing is like if they do bring him back, maybe they don't need to bring him back for 6. because if you bring him back, he can't. I mean, he can survive if you write it right,
Mhm.
but you don't want, you know, not to be, distasteful or anything. You don't want to blow your
Mhm.
load early. You know what I'm saying? Like
No, you
that's a
don't.
there's a big surprise there. You need to save that for the ending of a trilogy or something.
Mhm.
That's the that
Yes.
that's the Vader moment. That's the
I feel like
Palpatine.
yes, I feel like you could like do it for 6, but I feel like especially without Nev, without Cindy being there to see that reveal, to see the mask come off, and to see the look on her face, like what the fuck, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you have to have that if Stu comes back, you just have to.
yeah,
So I do feel like they should put that on the back burner for 7, and now you can even make that argument that they might be doing that because especially with all this Emma Roberts talk, like you said, they said they have something special lined up for Kirby redemption. Well, what's bigger redemption than Jill coming back and she's not dead and Kirby getting to kill her once and
yeah.
for all? She ends her. She ends Emma Roberts' character as Jill Roberts, and that's Kirby's redemption arc right
And
there.
that's her best friend. That was her best
Yeah,
friend.
that
You
was her
know?
best friend. Yep.
Yeah, man.
That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I can picture a scene like if they bring back Stu, like and Nev is right there, and he has like a knife up to Nev, and he's like, I told you I always had a thing for you, Sid. You
Yes,
know,
yes,
man, just kind of a callback, just little things like that, and
yes.
man, just I want it to, I don't think Stu's gonna be like the Stu we remember, but I still want him to be like psychotic, a little bit more serious, but he still has like these goofy quirks, like
Yeah.
he's still like psycho goofy, like he'll do like a
Mhm.
little twitch or something like
Oh, I think he will. I don't think that character. I don't think he would allow it. I don't think Matthew Lillard would allow it to be written any other way. I
yeah,
feel like he would want that to be written the way that it was written, how Wes wrote that character. That's how he has to be, even if it's on a darker, more serious tone. And that's honestly what I want. I want the same Stu, but a tad bit more darker, more vicious, more brutal. You know what I mean? Because everybody likes to sit there and say they love to discredit Stu so much. Oh, he was just Billy's accomplice. He wasn't that important. That is so misguided. He is the
yeah,
one who set up that party. He's the one who set up the ending scene. If it wasn't for Billy, Stu doesn't complete his mission. You know what I mean? Of committing all this killing spree. He needed Stu. He needed the brains to be there because Billy wasn't all there neither. You know what I mean? A lot of people like to say Billy was the brains, and to some degree he was, but people tend to forget that this guy was really traumatized by losing his mother, finding out all that stuff about his dad and his girlfriend's mom together and all that. Like he wasn't all the way there. And Stu is a lot smarter and a lot slicker than what people give him credit for.
yep, yep. He had that charisma. He had that,
Yes.
like, nobody really, you know he's like the comedy relief, him and Randy really, but like he just played it well. He's just like he's crazy, but he's in a good way crazy until we find out it's a
Very.
bad way.
Right.
So,
Now let me
so
ask you this real quick, buddy.
sure.
Um, all right, so a lot of us believe if Stu's going to come back and stuff. Would you give Stu a motive for coming back? Because the reason why I asked that is because remember in '96 when Cindy asks why they're doing it, and Billy's like, "Why?" and he looks at Stu and was like, "I don't know, Stu. Do you really believe in motives?" And he's like, "Nope."
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like he's just like, "Nope, no, no moss on the motives." So like,
yeah,
and I think going back and watching that, that's actually what adds the brilliance to his character. Everybody wants to know why did Stu help Billy Loomis? Maybe there's no reason. He just wanted to do it. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like this is just what
It
he
was
caught
fun.
on to it. It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. Um, honestly,
Oh,
yeah, I
man.
think he should touch on that, like, normal, like maybe say something similar to, like, normally I don't believe in motives, Sid or Sam or whoever, and but I can't just stand by and all I hear is Billy this and Billy that, and
Yeah,
he's the ghost face, he's of the Woodsboro killings, he's the
yeah,
Woodsboro murderer, and I never got the recognition, and I helped start this entire thing.
Yep.
like he wants his legacy. This is Stu's time to shine. He was the
Right.
forgotten. So
That's true.
he's
Yep.
tired of being
Absolutely.
forgotten. So he's making a staple.
Yes.
He's making a point.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That would make sense too, because that would be a good, interesting character arc for him too. Like, this is a killer, a guy who didn't believe in motives before, but now you guys gave him a motive. Now
Mhm.
you guys gave him a motive to even want to kill again. Like, so
Right.
that would be a really interesting story arc for him, and I think that that would make sense. You know what I mean? I'm with it, man. Like that, I don't believe he's dead, man, at all. I don't.
No. No, and I think they could get him back. I mean, it did kind of like worry me whenever he pretty much calls it sexism or sexist that they didn't do that. I was like, ooh, like if you ever want the opportunity to come back, you don't start name calling to a studio that would potentially bring you back. You're
Right.
at this point, it's kind of like you're going to be lucky to be here. You need to maybe not say nothing at all, but or not say that word. Like, I think that it would have been fine to support her, but saying
Yeah.
that word was like, man, you're kind of,
Because it's kind of pressing buttons, especially with the studios, because then they can sit there and look. They could do the same thing that they did with Nev. Okay, well, maybe we're not going to give you the deal that we once was going to offer you. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Now we could push you out too. Like, we had this idea for you to come back, but and we know this, man. Especially in business, man. Business can get very petty. You know what I mean, and stuff like that. So that wouldn't surprise me at all. I will say this. I feel like that with what is Guy Busick, he's the one who's a real big Stu fan. Is a guy on Radio
oh
Silence.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
like,
yeah, Guy
yeah,
Busey,
Guy Busick.
yeah,
I feel like as long as Guy Busick is backing him, I feel like he'll get away. I feel like they'll get away with it. You know what I mean? Because there's just too much money. Listen, money talks, bullshit walks, and we know that. If they're listening to their audience, especially the Stu audience, you know what I mean? If they are listening to their audience, they know this is a cash generator right here. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Regardless to what was said, money will mend all fences. You know what I
yep,
mean? Let's make this work. Let's make a lot of money together. Even if it's a fake smile, let's smile at the end of it and let's go our separate ways.
absolutely, absolutely, yeah, yeah. I mean, he could retract. They might request him to put something out and say, let's reword this, or
Yeah,
say something
they most likely
positive.
would. They
Yeah.
most likely would.
Oh
That's
yeah.
not that's not surprising, because I remember, with just a quick wrestling reference, when Cody Rhodes went to AEW, he was basically bashing WWE. Now that he went back to WWE, he said some comments about Triple H. When his first night back on Raw, and he was playing to the audience, he's like, Triple H is great. So basically, they told him, you got to suck up, you know what I mean, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And that's what he did. So that would not surprise me if the studio was like, okay, well, you kind of did say this, so we need you to kind of retract a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Vampirus Coffin. I shot him 6 times, dude. He has charisma. You cool, homie? Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that a lot, man.
Completely agree too. Yeah, man. Everybody's saying Gail. Adriano.
Passing of the torch, my friend.
I hope I'm
Passing of
not.
the torch.
Yep. I hope I'm not butchering his name. Adriano Reese. If Emma's back to 7, she will be suspect number 1 to have a really crazy plot. Oh yeah, definitely she's going to be a suspect. Obviously, yeah. Yeah, she's going to be a suspect, but I don't think she's going to be either they're not going to reveal her till the end. But if they reveal her early on, she's going to have a bigger arc than we believe. Like, she's not going to be the main ghost face. She's going to be the one that's like, she's crazy. Yeah, she's not a good person, but she might be there to, like, they might go and seek her guidance in, a loony bin or something, and be like, hey, who's doing this? And she might taunt them and be like, telling Kirby and Gail, like, and Sam or Tara, whoever's in that, coming to visit her, and being like, look, who's doing this? There's people dropping, you need to tell us. She's like, and she makes it known that she does know who it is, but she refuses to tell them. And she's just kind of like that,
Kind of like the reverse of Hannibal Lecter.
yeah, like a Hannibal
Yeah.
Lecter. Yeah, or kind of like
Yeah,
that scene
man.
in the Riddler. I mean, in the
Yeah.
New the Batman when with
The
Riddler when Batman's visiting him and
Yes.
he's just toying with them. You know,
Mhm.
there's nothing you
Yes.
can do.
Yes. I
Yeah.
finally got to watch that not long ago, and I liked it.
Oh, you liked it? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It's not a
Wasn't
Batman movie that I think I would watch over and over. I did
right.
enjoy it. Um, but it's like I wanted I think a lot of like the Arkham Asylum stuff got cut out. And I
Mhm.
was excited to see that, you know. So, but I
Yeah.
mean, but overall it was still a good movie. I still liked it
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
even though it was kind of predictable. I knew where it was
Mhm.
going pretty much, but it was still good.
Right.
Yeah. A little bit of a slow.
They gave a lot of that away in the trailer too.
Yeah, 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 they did. I mean, that's the trailers now too. It's
That's
just like,
it
come
is, man.
on.
It's
Like,
not like it used to be. Me and Bob were having this conversation the other night, and I was like, man, I miss those old school style trailers where you would just get like Halloween H2O is a perfect example. You just see the scene when the trailers, you see the hallway of the college or of the college or whatever the school, and you hear the music in the background, and you see the tarps and the leaves blowing in from it and stuff, and then it just cuts to a scene with Jamie looking at Michael through the door, and then it cuts. It says Halloween H2O. I
yeah,
miss those type of trailers. You don't give everything. It keeps you in suspense. It's like, oh, what's gonna happen in this movie?
yeah, yeah. I honestly like H2O, even though it's not in
I do
Haddonfield.
too.
I actually like it. I remember being in the theater. I remember watching it more than a couple times. I was like, this is a pretty good movie. There wasn't a
Hmm.
kill every 10, 15 minutes, but it
They
was
kind of
still,
got back to basics
yeah, yeah, it kind of got,
to a degree.
yeah,
What I appreciate in that movie is Michael stalking more often. You know what I mean?
yes,
Like watching and stalking. When I saw that in that movie, I was just like, oh, this is giving me 78 vibes. Like,
yeah.
that's what I want to see out of Michael Myers. And I mean, I'm hoping we get more of that in Halloween Ends.
Yeah, yeah, me too, me too. Like that LL Cool J scene where he's just standing
Yeah.
there on that side and he's standing there on this side, yeah, and he's just like looking around like, "What the hell is going on?" I was like,
Right?
"Oh man, don't kill him right now! Don't kill
Uh,
him!" I could have
right?
sworn he was about to get killed.
My boy LL at the end talking to his wife, baby, I'm going to make a romantic thriller. Yeah,
Yeah,
a thriller.
yeah. She's like, "What the
Uh,
hell?
yeah,
Big rounded what?"
yeah, yeah.
Man, that was fun.
Right.
The only thing they need to do, if they could go back and like remaster that movie and change the mask, and just
Yes.
if they could just change the mask,
Yes.
I think a lot of people would just like would accept that movie a lot more.
Right.
But I like
Yeah.
Josh Hartnett was great.
Yes.
Everybody was great in it.
Mhm.
Didn't know it for a long time, but that one kid, his friend of the other couple, I can't remember.
Jumanji.
Jumanji. He was
Yep.
Jumanji. Yep.
I think it was Adam Arkin is his name or something like that.
Adam Arkin.
Yeah, something like
That
that.
sounds right. Yeah. Yeah, he was that was crazy. At first I didn't notice that until like later on when it came out on like DVD or something, and I was like, "Oh,
Hmm.
that is that kid."
Yep.
That's crazy.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah.
Survived
That
Jumanji, but not Michael.
I thought that was a really. I love the final act scene. When she's walking in the street and she's screaming out Michael, and she goes, into the school,
Yeah.
whatever, and he just climbs down slowly, and so I thought that was so perfectly well shot.
That absolutely was. That I mean, when she stands there and she's got that axe and she's like, Michael, and then you hear that
Yes.
boom, you hear just the score come on. You're like, "Ooh,
Yes.
that got you really, really pumped." And then when he lifts
Right.
down and they just start going at it, man, that was awesome. That was
Oh man.
completely. I hate the
Hell
way
yeah, man.
they retcon that for Resurrection. Like, I was
Oh
glad
my.
that we got another Michael Myers movie, but man, I was like, man, this is just really cheesy writing here. Like,
Yep.
they just didn't care. And that's what
Nope.
I'm scared about with Scream 6. Is
Right.
I'm scared with them taking risks. Are they going to take Halloween Resurrection risks? That's when I like, if you're going to do your own thing, and who was it? Wasn't it the director from Halloween 2 that came back to do H2O?
No,
No,
Steve
no,
Miner.
Resurrection.
I think it might have been him. Yeah, Rick Rosenthal. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Rick
right.
Rosenthal.
Yeah, that is right.
He did Halloween 2, and then he came back to do Halloween Resurrection, and that got everybody hyped. Like, oh, okay, cool. But then he just takes it like, it was marketed like they're gonna do more technical stuff and all this kind of stuff, but they just kind of made it real tongue in cheek and kung fu and
yeah,
it just didn't work. It not for a Myers movie. It didn't. It could have been a fun slasher movie that of a new slasher that could have been presented to us, but not Michael Myers. This can't be
Michael Myers,
Halloween movie.
When I saw Busta Rhymes punk Michael Myers, I was just like, yeah, this isn't Michael Myers. Like this is not Michael Myers. There's no way if this is really Michael Myers, Busta Rhymes even gets a word out. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's finished.
It would have been better if Busta Rhymes actually got it. Maybe he did give Michael a good ass whooping, but then Michael Myers gets the upper hand.
Right, exactly. Like they just butchered that. That was really surprising, especially when you go back and watch how well Rick did with Halloween 2. You know what I mean? It's just like, where was you going with this, man? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. You know what I mean? But I definitely love Josh Hartnett as John Tate. I wish we would have got more. Now, I'll ask you this. Do you think, we know that Laurie has failed marriages. Do you think if they really wanted to get dicey with it, do you think that, it would be a little bit convoluted in ends. I wish they would have maybe talked more about it, even more in kills a little bit, but obviously Laurie took a back seat. But from these failed marriages, who's to say that they couldn't incorporate Jamie Lloyd and John Tate in this timeline?
They could do whatever they want after ends.
Right. And I feel like, especially because remember, they did say that this movie is going to take more of a storyline, I should say, approach. We're going to get more story, more backstory or whatever they said and stuff. It would be really, really interesting as if we see the John Tate and Jamie Lloyd character, like maybe their fathers, because of how, crazy and traumatized Laurie was, they kept them away from her for so many years. But then, they see the events of what happened in Haddonfield, and they're like, that's our mom. We want to be there for her. You know what I mean? And stuff like it would be a little convoluted, but if they did it correctly, I wouldn't be against it. But I'm going to say this. I think, in all honesty, man, I don't know about you. I think they're going to kill Michael Myers at the end of this movie. I do. And the reason why I say that is because I think Blumhouse and Malika Akkad are kind of at ends right now. I don't know if you've been reading about that. There's some rumblings that things aren't all that happy in the house right now. You know what I mean? And this is apparently, and Jason Blum did an interview, and they asked him, will there be more Michael Myers movies? And he basically said, listen, this will be the last Michael Myers movie right now in the Blumhouse universe. The rights go back to Malika Akkad. He will do whatever he wants to do with it. Is there a possibility we could come back and revisit this project if he wants us to come back? Sure. But as of right now, this is the last one we're doing. We have so many other projects that we want to do, etc. Now, especially if there's beef there, a little bit of beef, it would not surprise me if Blumhouse was like, okay, in our universe, we're going to kill Michael Myers off.
Yeah.
Man. I have a feeling, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I do. I feel like this could be, because then you got to think about it like this. And I did a video about it the other day. How much longer can the vessel, the body of Michael Myers, withstand all that punishment? Yeah. We know there's an evil being inside of him, but the flesh is still the flesh of a man. How much more can that take? Are we really going to be believing that a 70-something-year-old specimen of Michael Myers is still capable? Like, I understand he's still supposed to be supernatural, but I kind of revert back to like Chucky. Like we see Chucky in a doll. After a while, he becomes human and he has to switch. Yeah. You know what I mean? He has to switch either into another doll or another human body. Just like with Michael, and you see it, he's aging, he has gray hair, so it's not like the supernatural aspect is stopping the human body from breaking down. You know what I mean? And you even see it when he gets shot. It's not like in Halloween 2 where he walks through the glass and nothing affects him. He just walks through it. You see it in Halloween 2018 when Laurie shoots him. He stumbles. You hear it when they're beating him down in the mob. He's hurting. He feels that pain.
Yeah.
So it would not surprise me, man, if I would not surprise me if they would do. Maybe this is, and me and Craven talked about it. Maybe this is what will make fans angry, as if they go the Jamie Lloyd route at the end of 4, and if the evil that's inside of Michael goes inside of Allison and she kills Laurie. Like, if
Oh
Michael,
man.
it would not surprise me if they went that route, man. It would
Honestly,
not surprise me.
yeah, it would. I mean, nothing really surprises me at this point, honestly. I mean, at least what I would want, and that would be a safe bet, is that maybe in the credits we hear Michael breathing lightly before that John Carpenter score comes on. You know, like we just hear just like
Right.
just to give a little bit of life there, or even maybe I was talking to you, but I've made videos on it several times about if Halloween Ends is actually going to end, and you know, maybe the camera panning down to like you know, I always said that like something's up with the mask. They got to get that mask off and finish him off once and for all. It's his it's what's keeping him alive. It's what's keeping him ticking and keeping him coming back. That's what I think, because they emphasize on that mask so much, and they act like it does have powers, like just the way they acted in 2018. And but if they get the mask off and then the camera just kind of pans down to the mask laying there, and then when somebody comes by and just snatches it up, but we don't know who it is. We just see it get snatched up, and then it cuts the credits. Like, we don't know where the mask is going. We don't know anything. Like, it just leaves questions up for us, you know.
I see where you're going with that.
Yeah,
I see where you're going with that. Yeah.
Something simple like that. But I think what would be really cool is if, you know, a lot of people think that they're going to fight on top of this radio tower, or it's going to be some type of big fight scene or something, which is possible. It could happen. It is
possible.
Yeah. But I do think that Laurie and Michael is probably going to fall from something, either a window after kicking each other's ass, stabbing each other up, and throwing each other off of a balcony. But if you remember in 1978, when they look back down, he's gone, right? At the very end. In 2018, he throws Laurie off the balcony. He looks down. She's gone. This time they're both going to fall, and then the camera's going to cut to somebody looking back, and then when they look back down, they're both still laying there on the ground next to each other. Neither one of them will get up. Like, that's how I would write it. Like, if I was going to say, hey, I'm going to kill both of these characters, like neither one of them are going to get back up and disappear, you know.
And if you think about it, if you think about it, that's one thing maybe that Rob Zombie at the end of Halloween 2 of his version kind of got right with Laurie. Well, I mean, even though Laurie ended up living and being sent to an insane asylum, if he would have kept her dead, that would have been a really anticlimactic ending, and that could work, man. I'm not against that, because if you're going to kill both characters, what better way than to have them die next to each other? Yeah, exactly. Like that. Oh man, that would be insane. I would be for that.
Yeah, and then Allison just finally leaves Haddonfield, like Laurie was trying to tell her in 2018. You know, fuck school. Go take a vacation. Go take a trip. Go travel.
Right.
You know,
Mexico. She goes to Mexico.
Go to Mexico, and maybe that's where she goes. Maybe she says, "Hey, I'm headed to Mexico," and then we see her leaving city limits. You know, driving away and leaving Haddonfield.
Right.
You know, that's you know, a possibility. But then it still needs to cut to it. It still has to cut to a little bit of a dark ending, like just something. Give us something. I mean, you can say, yeah, he's technically dead or something, but give us some breathing. Give somebody snatching up the mask. Give the mask missing something. You know, just something. Give us something.
Because even Blumhouse, even with him saying that, as of right now, this is going to be the last Halloween they touch. Even if there's a little bit of beef there between them and Malika Cod, if they want to come back to the table, they're going to look at each other and say, we did make a lot of money together. You know what I mean? So, you know what? We want to revisit this project, finish where we left off. So if that's the case, they would have to, even if you make it look like Michael's dead at the end, you would have to have some breathing in the end credits to ensure us that, okay, he's still alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I think that they would have to do that if they're going to go that route, you know what I mean? Of potentially coming back for more Halloween movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I'll ask you this, man.
Sure.
You said something about the mask. We got to get that mask off of him. Like that's the way of killing him. I don't know. I'm starting, and I hope they don't do it at the beginning of the movie. I hope the final act is at his house or whatever, because I feel like it's his house that's the key to really either killing him or just crippling him to a way you make him really, really vulnerable. Because we've seen Michael kill and do damage without the mask. We've seen that. We've seen it at the bathroom stop when he's going to retrieve his mask from the reporters. You
Mhm.
know, we've seen it in 1978 when Laurie stabs him in the eye with the mask on, and then the mask is up, and then he cuts back, and it didn't do anything to him. Like he's still Michael Myers without the mask on.
Yeah.
And what does he always do? He always goes back home. If you take that away from him, then what? What does
Yeah.
it do to him? What does it do to his powers? What does that make him extra vulnerable, or will that just make him even more stronger? I feel like the house is a lot more pivotal than what a lot of us, even myself in the beginning, paid attention to. And what really led me to that was Halloween Kills, is when Lonnie's like, he kills, he goes home. That's all he wants to do is kill and go home, and that's it. You know what I mean? And there's more to that. There is more to that, and there's something with that house, man. I don't know what it is. I mean, I also will revert back to, even though it's not canon, I guess in this timeline, what did Dr. Loomis say in Curse of Michael Myers when Mrs. Strode asks him, what makes you think he will come back here? He's like, this house, it's sacred to him and holds all his memories, his rage, and stuff like his rage. That's where his rage stems from. It all stems from back home. So I feel like I would really like to see the ending, like the final act, be at Michael's house. Because think about it. In 2018, we got it at Laurie's house. You know what I mean? And stuff. And at the end, we see the replica of Michael's house burning. You know what I mean? What if in this movie, I envision it like this. Him and Laurie are duking it out in the house, and they're both banged up to the point where they're like incapacitated for the time being. Or, you know what I mean? Laurie's banged up like to the point where she knows she's gonna die. And Allison's like trying to get her out the house, and she's like, no, Allison, like, go. You have to go. You know what I mean? But in the process, burn this down. Get rid of all of it. This is what's gonna finally kill him and get rid of him. You destroy his home, because then he has nowhere else to go back to. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. And then you just see Allison torch the house, and the whole house is aflame, much like the model at the end of Halloween 2018. But then obviously we see her walk off, maybe see her get that bus ticket to Mexico, whatever. And then obviously it cuts to the credits, and then we get that breathing still. Because we don't know if in that time the house is burning down, Michael could have, woke up, obviously, sat up, and then walked out, the back or something like that. Then if Blumhouse wants to eventually continue their story and follow Allison eventually, maybe she comes back to Haddonfield after so long, thinking that she can, face her demons, knowing that Michael Myers is dead. You can pick up after that, after so many years, if they so choose to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. They could do something with it later on. But I thought I was hearing stuff, because that's what I'm with you, man. That's what I want
about bulldozing the house.
Yeah. I was hearing a lot of people were telling me about that. Is that
not, man?
I hope not.
I think it's
like at the beginning.
It's just a rumor. I think that's just a big rumor that's going around. I'm not 100% sure. I've tried to look up information about that, and I can't find anything on that and stuff. So I think that's just a big rumor possibly going around. And we know this too. They're in reshoots right now.
Yeah.
So even if the house was supposed to get bulldozed, who's to say because of that leak getting out, they're like, okay, we have to reshoot that and we can't do that. You know what I
Right.
mean? We seen that with Halloween 2018 with what they were going to do with the ending. And I don't know if you remember what they said they were going to do with the ending. And I'm kind of glad they went with the ending that they went with and stuff like that. But yeah, they did the same thing. They took the movie to a test screening. The critics loved the movie up until the ending. They hated the ending. And then they went back and reshot the ending. And then obviously that's the one we got in theaters, and all was well with the universe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's very possible. I always said that with Laurie Strode's house being burned up and Big John and Little John being dead, what if I was Laurie, I would buy the Myers house and set it up, trapped, waiting on Michael's return. That's what I would do, you know?
Yes.
And I would start the movie off. You know how I would start Halloween Ends off, the opening scene? Man, this is how I want to see it happen.
Go for it, man. I want to hear this.
Even though I don't like the way Halloween Kills ended, I accept it. I mean, I don't hate it, but you know, we could have gotten better.
Way better.
But how did Michael get into that house? Like, how did?
Thank you.
So I want to see the movie immediately. It opens up. We see a POV shot inside of Michael's mask, just like in the first film when he was a child. And I want to see him walking and behind houses and behind alleyways and making his way to that house, dodging the paramedics, dodging the police, getting through the back door and coming up and seeing Karen and him stabbing her. POV shot, just like he did his sister.
Nice.
That's and dude, sometimes
and that's a way you can make up for the ending of Halloween Kills.
Yeah,
you know I mean, that's a way you can make up for that ending, because that's I think all of us, in all honesty, that was our biggest thing outside of just how abruptly it ended like that, and with him just staring out the window. It's like, wait a minute, how the hell did he get past everybody? You know what I mean, and stuff,
and get there so fast.
Right, and that would make sense. That would make sense, especially if because we obviously can't see in the back of the house at that point in time. We don't know if there's cops back there. We don't know if there's anybody back there in the back of the house. And we know this, in the front of the house, Karen and Allison aren't paying attention. Neither are the paramedics or the cops. They're sitting there and they're writing their little notes down and everything. So it's not impossible that Michael, if nobody caught him coming through the back, just so slyly walked right up the stairs without nobody noticing him. I tried to go back in Halloween Kills, and when they have the shot of Allison leaning up against Karen before she goes upstairs, and you can see the stairs, I tried to so hard zoom up the stairs as best as I could just to see if you could see a heel of his shoe or something, and I couldn't get nothing.
Dude, that'd be so cool if they do add that into it, though. If they do kind of do that scene, and they just show that, oh man, he walked right past them. He walked
That would be two straight kind of retcon scenes homaging 1978.
Yeah,
that would be nice, because we got the Loomis one, which was legendary. That hit my soul and my heart seeing that, man. I'm not even gonna lie. I watched it at my sister's house. We decided to do a whole family thing and watch it on Peacock.
Yeah.
And I remember when that scene came up, I was the only one. I jumped up and I'm like, what? I was just like, yo! I was like, oh man, I was so hyped. I was so happy for that scene. And that would be a nice reference to 1978 if we get him creeping in through the back, POV style, like you said, creeping up the stairs, man, and killing Karen. Because then you could see it from his angle, because he came from behind her, so you could see him without her noticing him, pass him without even noticing him from his point of view. And then once she looks out the window, he just creeps behind her, and then she realizes him, and then he's slashing and dashing. Like, that would be a sick camera angle too.
Yeah. And also, you know, like if you want to, you could have it like maybe there is a cop on the backside of the house in the backyard or something,
and he kills him. Like in a POV shot, like he just leaps out from the shadow and just kind of stabs him, and then he goes through the back door, and it just shows how easy he can just
maneuver in and out of places without even being seen. He's so quiet. He just like, well, I got to
Oh,
get to point A to point B.
right. You know what I just thought of? Remember that sound in the original when Michael would shoot up at somebody, and it was just like that shoot that like that shooting sound that John incorporated in the
Oh
score
yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever. Imagine when he's going to do that to the cop, like if the cop's just standing there, smoking a cigarette or something, and you just see Michael just come out of nowhere and you get that sound behind it. Oh,
yeah,
that would be sick. Oh
yeah.
man.
Yeah, that'd be super awesome, dude. But
Hell yeah.
honestly, like okay, so I do like your idea about bringing back Jamie Lloyd and John Tate. I feel like it would be more likely, even though I love John Tate, man. I'm always been a fan of Josh
Me
Hartnett.
too.
But with the way H2O ended, and then this, I feel like it would kind of like it wouldn't make sense to a lot of fans. It would probably confuse them, or kind of like,
Right.
oh, maybe they'll say, oh, this is bullshit now. They're just making up
Right.
stuff. But it's not a stretch, because I always say, and I got a video coming out here soon about where I want the franchise to go after this. I would like them to retcon
Yep.
Halloween 4, 5, and 6 be a direct sequel to 4. I want to see a
Right.
direct sequel to 4. Don't make Jamie Lloyd mute. Have the mask
Thank
right.
you.
Hopefully they can still use the same exact mask.
Don't
Uh,
kill Rachel Carruthers within the first half hour of the
Don't.
movie.
Yeah, bring her back.
Man,
Don't have any goofy clown shoes cops.
right? with the sounds, the boink.
Oh my god, man! I'm like, they just don't care anymore.
And what I do appreciate though is they acknowledge they were lousy cops.
Oh
I
yeah,
love how
yeah,
he's just like, fortunately, we're lousy cops.
yeah. But I think they should get rid of 5 and 6, and this be a direct
Right.
sequel to 4. Have Danielle Harris back. Show her
Right.
the recognition she deserves, because she did help build this franchise and keep it going. And she was a terrific child actress. She's a great
Hell yes.
actress. And
Yes.
have her older now, and maybe,
Right.
like you said, she just found out that, oh, my original mom just died over in Haddonfield, and she decides to go to Haddonfield to visit her gravesite. She missed the
Yes.
funeral or something. And she goes there, and that's what brings her back to Haddonfield. And then she and everybody else thinks the boogeyman is actually dead, and then write a
He's not
story
dead.
around that. Like,
Right, exactly. That would be perfect. And you could almost kind of do it like they did with 2018. You can have a big time jump from 4. You can basically, you got to have her grown up now. You know what I
Mhm.
mean and stuff. So maybe instead of trying to, so you're not copying so much, because Danielle Harris, for almost a 50-year-old woman, she looks like she's still in her 20s.
Oh
You know what
yeah,
I mean? And
yeah,
you could easily make her out to be somebody in their mid 30s. So maybe
yeah,
you set it 25 years after you set it 25 years after she was 9, 10 years old. You know what I mean? So she'd be what, 34, 35 years old. That makes sense. Rachel would be around early 50s, so maybe closing in on mid 50s. That would
hmm
make sense. You know what I mean? I would love to see a retcon of Halloween 4 through 5, like, or 5, just picking up after 4, and you're just gonna do 5 and 6.
yeah,
That
yeah.
I would love that.
And they could drop the name. I mean, the number. They could drop the number, just like they did with this one, and call it something.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
So, man, I really do think that they should do something like that. Because I mean, honestly, 5 and 6 didn't do 4 justice. So
It didn't.
it started off on a good note. It felt like a really good Halloween movie without Laurie Strode, and then they just went off into some weird shit in 5 and 6.
Right.
And
Well,
it's like
also because we had different directors too.
I
You
know.
know what I mean? Dwight H. Little, I think they shorted him on the money or whatever. That's why he didn't come back for 5. They basically tried to short him on the money or something like that.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Oh,
That's why he
okay.
didn't come back. Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, him, and I forget. All right, so the guy who writ Halloween 4, he just actually came out and directed a movie, and apparently it's like a success. I have to look up his name or whatever and stuff. But apparently the guy who writ Halloween 4 just came out with a movie or whatnot and stuff. So he's still relevant. He's still around. But he even said himself that had the fourth one been successful, he already had 5 and 6 ready to basically all but written. Like he basically
has he ever
he
mentioned
knew,
about what it would have been, what his ideas were?
well, no, the crazy thing is the studio took his ideas basically mid filming and kicked him off the project. So everything we see is his in the movie or whatever, but he didn't even really get credited for it.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah.
And that
It's
happens
crazy.
more often than you think.
Yeah, it does. It's a shame. And
Yeah.
they brought him back. I think it was for like the 20th anniversary, something like that. And they had a documentary about it. And he said, "Yeah, I wrote this, I wrote that, I wrote this, I wrote that." And then mid film, you know, when we're shooting, the studio comes to me and says they don't need me anymore. And it's just like, you know, and it's just like, wow.
Baby back.
And he wrote a great story. I thought for a movie that got away from Laurie Strode, that's how you do it. If you want to get away from a final girl like that, that's a blueprint you can follow right there.
Yeah, for sure, man. It'd be really cool if they show recognition to him too, if they do bring it back. Like, you know,
right?
Let him be a part of it somehow, or mention him.
How about he directs
a cameo?
Let him direct it.
Let him direct it. Yeah, there you go. What's the movie that he's working on, or he just
you know what? Let me look it up. I'm gonna look him up.
All right, while you do that, I'm a mess with the chat. I kind of got behind on the chat. It kind of jumped from me. It does that from time to time. Bear with me. Let me find out where I was. Michael Joe is in the house. What's up? What's up, Destination? What's up, Michael Joe? That sounds like an actor's name, Michael Joe. like an action star.
Yep.
Vampire is coughing. Plant the seeds until the end, and Stu calls Sydney, sets up Screen 7. Yeah. We were just talking about that. Yep. I like that.
Okay. Yep. He's the one who just did the remake of Wrong Turn.
Oh, he did the remake of Wrong Turn?
Yep.
Oh, well, I actually enjoyed that one.
Yep.
I actually
he did
liked
the remake of Wrong Turn. I have not seen it yet.
It was different, but it was taken serious, but it's not your typical Wrong Turn movie. But
got you. I heard a lot about that.
Yeah, just go into it knowing you're going to get something a little different, but it still has, you know, some good Carnage candy in it. It's cool, and it has one of the best ending credit scenes. Let me just say that.
Okay.
So that's one thing I always remember.
Well, I'm definitely going to check it out now that I know he did it, because I was thinking about that. Somebody said it a couple weeks ago, and they're like, the guy who wrote, it was in the chat, I think, with Cravens. He said the guy who wrote Halloween 4 or whatever, he did Halloween 4. He's the one who just directed Wrong Turn and stuff like that. So after seeing what he did with Halloween 4, and now that he's obviously now directing his own movies and get a shot at it, I'm definitely going to give him a look.
Oh yeah, definitely. I have that movie. I think I need to rewatch it. I remember I watched it when it first came out, and I kind of forgot about it. But yeah, it was good, man. Let me know what you think if you check it out.
I will. I definitely will. I don't know if you've seen it yet. You know what I mean? But I actually before we came on or whatever, I got to watch Men from A24.
How was that? Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, it is different. It is different, but I like it. I like it, man. It in my opinion, I see we're cutting out a little bit. All right, but in my opinion, it's. I'm not trying to spoil it or whatever, but it resonates. I'm gonna put it this way: if you're a man and a woman going through trials and tribulations, or whatever, it resonates from a man's point of view, just in a crazy, horrific type of way that you would. It's insane. Like it's ridiculous. It's very, very different. You know what I mean? I'm gonna let you watch it, man. I'm just telling you. I'm gonna say this: when you get to the meat and the gravy of it, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck am I watching?" But then when you get to the point of it at the end, you're gonna be like, "Huh." That's an innovative way of a man's point of view. You know what I mean? To a degree. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Is it horror or is it just drama?
I guess it's what you call elevated horror. Like it's kind of
Okay.
like I don't know how to explain. Like it's kind of like man, how could I explain this? Like it kind of gives you strangers vibes, you know, from the setting and how things kind of turn out.
Hmm.
But it's kind of like strange and euphoric at the same time. Basically, I'll say this: it's all in her head, in my opinion. It's all in
Okay.
her head. You know what I
Okay.
mean? But what she's seeing is it's nuts, bro.
It's
Like,
psychological.
yes, it's
Okay.
elevated psychological horror, in my opinion.
Okay.
The score that if you watch the trailer or
Hmm.
whatever, that score that's in the trailer where it's like ha 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 ha, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Oh my god, bro! I'm not gonna lie. Just watching it, they did it perfectly. They implemented that score at perfect times of the movie. Like, oh, it's good, man. I maybe after watching it a second or third time, I might not be that enamored with it, but I don't even think that will be the case. This was different, and that's why I think I liked it. It's
Yeah.
completely not what I expected. Not what I expected at all. And I think that's why I enjoy it so much. I will say it's a guilty pleasure for me already.
Okay. All right. All right. I have
Yes.
to check it out. Is it on streaming yet? Is it something I can rent on streaming, or is it still at the
I think
theaters?
they. I know it's in the theaters, but I know they do have it on. They might have it on demand, if I'm not mistaken,
Okay.
or whatnot. I think they. I think what now they do that like after like a week or two after the theatrical release. Sometimes they'll release it right on demand right after that. So
Yeah.
probably check it out and stuff. I have a Fire Stick, so you know what I
Oh,
mean.
okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
usually use Voodoo. VUDU.
Nice. Sometimes I
Yeah.
watch Voodoo too. Yes, Voodoo's
Yeah.
a good app.
Yeah. I got a lot of I got a big digital library on there. But
Nice.
yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out. The last A24 movie I watched was The Northman, which isn't horror,
Okay.
but you know,
I heard that was good too.
yeah, I liked it. I liked it a lot. I know it was marketed as like this generation's Gladiator. I wouldn't give it that, but
That
I definitely appreciate it. It's definitely not a Ridley Scott type of movie. You know, you can definitely say, okay, this isn't a Gladiator. You know, that's the audience they're trying to get
right.
in the seats. But
Yeah.
but definitely some beautiful shots. It was good. It's like think of it as like when you're watching it, the live action human version of The Lion King. That's all I can say.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
So
gonna
just how
watch
some of the
this
story
now.
beats go and everything, it's just like look at the Northman as Simba. that's
All
that's all
right.
I said. This is
I'm
the
definitely I'm definitely gonna watch this now because I want to see who's Mufasa.
oh yeah, yeah. You'll know who Mufasa is, and you'll know who Scar is, and it's just like,
Yeah, I'm
oh
about to say
okay,
Scar.
all right, all right. I see what they're doing here. But
Heck yeah,
definitely
man.
Anya Taylor Joy. I'm a big fan of hers. She does great.
Okay.
It does have some artsy stuff in it, which is pretty common in
Well,
an A20.
that's kind of how men is, man. Like I
Yeah,
will say that another thing about that, the backdrop and like the ambiance, like the
yeah,
coloring and everything, top notch, man. Like I'm not gonna lie, it was
yeah.
good. They did a good job with the ambiance for sure.
I
I
was
mean, because
surprised they didn't
that's
get.
something I look for, especially in like horror movies and stuff, is the backdrop. Maybe that's something I'm guilty of being spoiled with 1978's Halloween
Yeah.
because you know the tone and the ambiance that John Carpenter set. But I'm really big on that. It's backdrop and ambiance.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Cinematography is like big. I'm real big on cinematography.
Right.
But with I'm really surprised that X didn't do more artsy stuff with their movie. Have you seen X?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, and I like it. I mean, honestly, I think it's a pretty solid slasher
It
movie. You
is.
know, kind of feels grimy, kind of feels like one of those
Mhm.
grindhouse movies, just a little bit.
Right.
But it wasn't too artsy. It wasn't like it didn't feel like an A24 type of artsy film. You know?
Got you. Yeah, it didn't. No, I think with that direction, in my opinion, what they went with that movie, how what I felt from that movie, that was like kind of old school 1970s, 80s type slasher. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Because you had a lot of sex incorporated in it, which was big on the time back then, and all that stuff. The religious aspect of it, which was a big thing back in the 70s, 80s in terms of horror movies, backdrops like that, and slashers and stuff
Mhm.
like, especially backroad slashers like that.
Yeah.
Definitely a big thing. So That's the vibe I got off it, but I enjoyed it, man. You know what I mean? I enjoyed it a lot.
I
I
did
mean,
too.
those old heads were no joke.
I know, man. I know. I was like, man, hell no. I'm not.
Yeah, right.
Something ain't right.
Right? Exactly,
uh,
man.
but yeah, there were certain things. But it does look like. Did you ever watch the trailer to the sequel or the prequel? I guess it's the prequel. You know the old lady. What was her name in the movie? What was her name? They said it a bunch of times.
I'm gonna look at now.
I can't think of it right now, but they're making a prequel, and there's already a trailer that leaked online, and that actually looks pretty artsy. It looks like they're taking a totally different tone. It looks like they're going to take more of an artsy approach with it. But
got you.
But I can't remember her name. I don't know. You'll find it up. You'll find it. Vampira's Coffin sits here and says, how would they explain Jill coming back, though? She got shot in the chest. Well, that's true, but you know the rules is you got to get shot in the head, and that did not happen to Jill. Why did they choose not to shoot her in the head? Why Sydney is known to shoot people in the head? Why did she not shoot her in the head? Is it because they're related? Maybe she was being a little soft on her. I don't really think it was that. I think they just wanted her to survive to begin with, and they like the original ideas for Scream 5 after Scream 4.
Oh wow,
what's that,
bro? That's Mia Goth who plays the old head.
Yeah, she plays both. Both.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she plays both, and she's in the sequel as well, being a younger version of the older lady. But what is the older lady's name? What's her character?
Okay, yeah, I got sidetracked with that. That messed me up for a second. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that it's crazy that she did that. She did a good job,
man. That very good job. I didn't have me fooled.
Yeah.
Movie. Okay, I think her name is Pearl.
Pearl. That's it.
Okay.
I think that's the name of the prequel, Pearl. That's coming out.
Yes, that is. I did hear about that. Yes, Pearl,
I thought somebody in the chat was gonna jump on it. But yeah, Pearl. I think that's the name of the prequel, and I think they're gonna do a sequel as well. It's gonna be like a trilogy, so they're going like out of order. They're doing like the middle story here, and then they're doing like a prequel, and then they're going to do like what happens to Mia Goth character afterwards after she drives off. Yeah.
Right. Damn, that's some good stuff.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. I hope it makes money to where they can finish the story.
Right.
That's the thing. Whenever you're taking a risk, whenever you decide to do stuff like this, and you don't wrap it up, you don't wrap up the story, your endings. You never know if you're going to be able to get greenlit for that sequel.
That's true.
So
that is true. Did they make a lot of money at the box office?
I don't know. I think it was a pretty low budget. I think they did make a profit, and I honestly think it's going to make more money on streaming.
Now that it has a fan base and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I think they were already planning on making this Pearl movie anyway, so it was already greenlit for 2 movies. So
gotcha.
So yeah, they're trying something different with it. So I don't know. We'll see. But if they get that third movie, if neither one of them make the profit, then you got 2 movies that didn't, bring in enough money for the studio, and then you're like, no, we're not gonna give you a third one.
Right, and then much like Scream the TV series, you're left with a basically a story that doesn't get finished.
I know, man. I want to see the ending of that Brandon James story so bad. And, Paramount Plus is talking about bringing back the series.
I heard about that, but I heard they might be going in like a whole different direction.
I think they're going to start from scratch. Yeah.
Yeah, and I heard that Vince's character, Kyle Gallner, is supposed to be like a main feature in the first season or something like that.
Really? Okay.
Yes, I heard something about that floating around, that they want Kyle Gallner to star in the show as Stu's nephew, obviously, and I guess we're going to get more backstory from him that we didn't get in Scream 5, but I mean, that's just a rumor floating around, so that's not 100% accurate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I kind of hope, nothing against Kyle Gallner. I do wish we would have got more insight on the Vince character, but you should have did that in Scream 5.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Like whenever I was talking to Mike Vaughn, the ghost of, the voice of
Hmm.
Brandon James, I was asking him, I was like, man, do you know anything? Do you know who was the killer who killed Kieran,
Yeah.
or anything? And he said, you know what? I don't even think the writers know. Like they're just making it up as they go. That was his answer, was like they've
Wow.
wrote this whole story, and then they've rewritten so many things, and it's just like they're just writing as it goes, and it could be anybody. It could just be
Wow.
anybody, and then they just decide to, at the last moment, like, okay, well, we're down to these few characters. We're gonna make this, and this happen. So,
Right.
so,
Man,
and I
that's
always,
interesting.
my theory on that, and sometimes I can think really too deep on stuff. I can go way out there because I just start
Yeah.
brainstorming. But honestly, I think that Emma's mom isn't completely honest about a lot of stuff. Like,
Hmm.
how she was the one that was on the dock and was pretty much the bait to bring Brandon James out.
Yep.
But we didn't really see Brandon James, the guy that looked like a freak or whatever, actually
Right.
kill anybody. We saw him try to give her something, and she screamed after she saw his face,
Right.
and then murders happen around the school, but we don't know who actually murdered those people. And
Exactly.
maybe he was falsely killed. Maybe there was
A lot.
somebody
A
else.
lot of people. A lot of people feel like it was Kevin Duvall.
Okay. All
A
right.
lot of people feel like it was Kevin Duvall because he knew Brandon James had a crush on Daisy or
Yeah.
whatever and stuff, and he wanted to frame Brandon basically for that because him and Daisy were having issues or whatever and stuff like that because of this whole Brandon James nonsense or whatnot and stuff. So there's a lot of rumors, there are speculations that it was Kevin Duvall who was. It's Kevin Duvall who killed Kieran, which would make sense. Why? How if Brandon James is dead? You know what I mean? Kevin Duvall would make sense because who told you he can wear my mask?
Right.
You
Okay.
know what I mean? And so a lot of people, and I even to a degree think that Kevin Duvall does have a lot more involvement than what we know because he had the motive. Him and Daisy were going through issues. He knew that to some degree Daisy did have a little bit of feelings for Brandon James. She did.
Yeah.
She felt empathy for him. And the fact of that and mixed in with all their problems that they were having, he's tried to basically eliminate Brandon. So, which is why he basically framed him for the murders at school, and then subsequently Brandon was killed off and stuff like that. Like a lot of us believe that Kevin Duvall, you know what I mean, especially because he left after so long, you didn't see him, and then
Yeah.
as soon as these new murders start happening, now he creeps back up. It's not impossible to think that he could have hired both Piper, being that Piper was, Emma's sister. He hired both Piper and Kieran to do the bidding, and then he just ended up killing off Kieran at the end, just acting, oh, who told you can wear my mask? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And stuff like that. Because Kieran, he knew who it was.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think if we were to get that, I want to know more backstory on Kevin Duvall, and I want to know if that was Troy James or if Brandon James is actually still alive. But I'm gonna go with Troy James, who was at the end going into the hotel
Yeah.
when the hotel clerk says, "Thank you, welcome back, Mr. James."
Yeah. 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 For
I think
sure.
that was Troy. I think that was his brother.
Well, what about this, man? I thought about this for a while. I was thinking, what if Emma's mom was actually the killer, and she just let Brandon James fall for it? And that's
Ooh.
why he's back for her daughter and terrorizing her, because she also got something in a tree or
Ooh.
something. Um,
Hmm.
and I thought maybe that, and maybe,
And they
um,
killed they
Emma,
killed her boyfriend.
yeah, and Emma's dad knows this, and this is kind of what's torn their family apart, and he's holding the secret for her mom, or something,
Whoa.
yeah, yeah. I was thinking, man, that would be really
Whoa.
dark if Emma
That's
was
good
actually
shit, man.
yeah, Emma's mom was actually the killer back in the day, and she just let Brandon James fall
Maggie.
for it.
Maggie.
Maggie, the
Maggie.
nanny
Yup.
from New
AK,
Nightmare.
AKA from New Nightmare. Yup.
Yep,
Yup.
yep.
I love her in that movie. She's a badass.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. Yeah, and see that she's
Yeah.
memorable in that movie.
Oh,
New
absolutely.
Nightmare, Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Yep.
I'm gonna try to catch up on the.
Tracy Middendorf.
Yeah, But man, I love that series, man. Whichever way they go, just I hope they do it justice
Right?
and they take
I
care of it.
hope what I hope they bring back the original cast at some point. If they can get them on board, I would love that. Let's finish up this story.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. At least the if we do have a new cast, we can still wrap up that story. At least give us
Right.
something to move forward with. Like wrap it up in a bow and then go on with your new character in this new story.
Right.
Let us know
Exactly.
something. Um,
Facts.
but yeah, man. But I have faith in Paramount Plus. Like I think they take care of their properties. They do some pretty good shows. Have you seen that new show, The Offer, with Miles Teller?
No, but I've heard of it.
Man, it just the finale just came on, and I think it's just a one series. It's like a limited time series, but it feels like just one big movie. But
Okay.
it's like the making of The Godfather. Like,
Oh wow.
it's like what Paramount Plus had to go through to get The Godfather made, and it's so good, especially if you like filmmaking and all that kind of stuff. And
Oh
you'll
yeah.
see like things from The Godfather, and Miles Teller is always great, I think. And they got other stars in there too. That it's a fun movie. Check it. I mean, fun show.
Uh,
Check it out
I'm
whenever you get a
definitely
chance.
going to check it out.
Yeah.
There's another show I want to check out, and I'm not going to lie, it looks pretty fascinating, and it is kind of like it ain't like horror or whatever, but it's like suspense thriller show. But they have a show out called Karen, and I want to watch it.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not gonna. I want to see that,
Is
man.
it a show
I'm
or a
not.
movie?
No, it's a show. It's a whole series. It's a
Oh,
whole show. Yep.
okay. I thought
Yep.
there was a movie.
Yes.
Wasn't there a movie called Karen that came out? Like,
I think so. Hold on. You know what?
not
Wait,
the
I can
same
look that
thing.
up. I can look that up though, because it could be a movie. I thought it was a show. The way it looked advertised, it looked like it was a show.
It could have been. It could have been. I could be mistaken. Dino says all of the craziest psycho killers, even in real life, always had the charisma and charm to fool everyone to think they were normal. Like, look at Ted Bundy and John Wayne Gacy. You're right. You're absolutely right, Dino. Um,
Oh no, it is a movie.
it is. Yeah. Okay. I thought I
Yep.
saw it advertised like on Vudu or something like for
Yes,
sale.
it is a
Yeah.
movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too. That always that looked kind of crazy.
It did.
Yeah.
She looked like somebody I'd be interested in watching kill somebody.
Yeah. 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 For sure.
Like for real.
Caleb Jenkins says, I shot him 6 times. Would you like to see Metal Ghostface go into space? Kill the astronauts as Scream 8 in 2027 or 28? That's a question for you, man.
No, I'm good on that. We can keep Ghostface away from space and any metal Ghostface mask. I mean, it was cool to see for Matthew to do the stab, the whole stab universe stuff, but not in the real Scream universe, buddy. I can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Me either, man. I'm with you. Adriano, no one dies when the money calls. You're right. Yeah. Money can bring anybody back from the dead in a movie.
Fact. That's a fact.
Keeps
Especially in
bringing,
horror movies.
yeah, it keeps bringing Michael Myers back.
Right? And we don't seen him get shot, stabbed, burned. I mean,
Yeah.
60-something-year-old man still taking all his punishment, and he's still chugging.
Yeah.
Like,
Michael Joe, the action star. He you always gotta have two first names, and you're an action star. All right. Stu could come back as the opening kill. Man,
no bueno.
yeah,
Will not stand for it, buddy. Sorry.
that would be a twist. That would be something that would catch everybody off guard. Just don't
Yeah.
show Stu in the trailer, you know.
Right?
Just
Yeah.
open up the movie and being like, boom, like, oh wait, what's about to happen?
Right? I mean, I feel like if you're gonna bring him back, you have to reveal him as the cult leader. You know what I mean? You have to kind of go in the same direction that Kevin Williamson was going to go with originally. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That he's got these group of people helping him, doing his bidding, and then at the end, especially that's why I said I would love to wait till 7 to get him back, because I just feel like you have to have Nev there, man. You do. Like
Yeah.
you got to have that reaction. You know what I mean? And if you get that, you get all the good nuggets. You get all the juicy nuggets leading up into 7, leading in through 7 itself, and then we get that big old reveal. Man, all will be well with the universe, in my opinion.
Agreed. Yeah, I don't want to see Stu as an opening kill either. I think that's
No.
a waste. Just like if you did Kirby or Gail or Nev Campbell or anybody like that. Like, no, if it's a legacy character, if it's somebody from the original, don't do that. Because I absolutely hated that with Cotton. I hated that with Cotton.
Yes, I did too, man.
Yeah, I don't
I
mind
did not
Cotton.
like that at
I don't
all,
mind
man.
Cotton dying, but he shouldn't have died in the
Just
opening kill.
not in the opening kill. No, I did not like that about Scream 3 at all. I was hoping to see more of Cotton Weary, especially being that he had a TV show and you seen him make it, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
when they did that, I was just like, oh man, that's a bummer because I like Cotton.
yeah, I did too. I did too. I mean, we were just getting attached to him.
Just
You know?
yes, we was. You know what I mean? It's a damn shame. The man done got his name clear. He served prison for time for a crime he didn't commit. He gets out. He goes through another string of murders at the college. You know, when all he wanted was a 15-minute interview, his 15 minutes of fame. You see him in the opening scene of Scream 3. He got his fame. He's got everything, and then you just kill them all.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
damn shame.
and he's kind of like he's almost sort of a hero in Scream 2. Like, you know, he's the one that intervened.
Yeah,
And
he is.
and it shows him and Nev or him and Sydney just you know, like finally coming to terms and trusting one
Right.
another. You know, and that would have
Right.
been really cool if he did turn into like a more of a big brother type character in Scream 3, and then later on he dies. You know,
Right.
but I
exactly.
think Liv Schreiber, the actor, I think he wanted. I don't think he wanted to do anymore. I think he wanted like, I'll do one
He wanted to
scene.
move on.
Yeah, he was like I'm done with it. Move on, because he's a very professional actor too. He probably wants to be in more serious stuff than a horror movie, you know. And they probably wasn't paying
Right.
him as much as he wanted.
Oh
to
yeah,
be paid.
you seen him Ray Donovan.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, I
like,
know.
Ray,
Yeah, he was
so
great in that.
that
He even
makes
played.
sense.
Even though the movie like Wolverine Origins was horrible,
Uh-huh.
he was the best part.
He was.
He was awesome as Sabretooth.
What was it? Well, look what the cat drug in.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, yo, he's hard.
yeah,
Love it. But you know what else he's so great at too? That a lot of people don't talk about, you know, because you know, not everybody in the world's a boxing fan. But his
Yeah.
narration for the 24/7 series that they would do on the boxers leading up to the fight, he was
Yeah.
the narrator. He won an award for that. He was
Huh.
the narrator of the 24/7 series with Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya, Manny Pacquiao, all the great fights that they had on HBO. That series, it was Liev Schreiber who was the narrator. And
Dang.
bro, if you ever just look it up, just, you know what I mean, even look up like a 30-second clip, bro, his narration skills, fire, bro.
Oh, okay.
Fire.
I'll look
He's
him
the
up, man.
He's really good.
Okay, all right.
He's
I
really
believe him,
good.
man, 'cause he's awesome. I like him.
Yes.
I thought it would have been really cool. Like, what if he would have survived in Scream 3 all the way to the end? And like,
Right.
we all like, we all trust him now. But then at the end, like when you find out if he was actually the killer for Marine or you know, one like the mastermind, and being like, I'm sorry, Sydney,
Well,
you did see me. It was me. And then he just attacks her, you know. Like, think about how much more emotional packed that would have been, man. I'm telling you, man. Like, I think about some crazy stuff. I'm like,
whoa, that would have been,
this
that
is
would have
how it
worked
should have.
though.
Yeah,
That could have worked. That
Yeah.
could have worked.
Yeah.
Man, that would have been nuts.
And he's
That-
already gotten off. He's gotten away with it. Now there's other
Right.
Ghostface. He let the whole Maureen Prescott and Mickey thing do their thing, because he had nothing
Right.
to do with that. He was just like, oh, well, I don't have anything to lose here. But
Right,
I can gain her
exactly.
trust this way, you know?
That's
So-
a fact. Yeah, that could have worked, man.
And he became
That could've-
fame. He got his fame and everything. And then, like, if he
That
just
would've
turns
been
around
sick.
being like, I'm sorry, Sydney, you did see me that night. You know?
Right? It wasn't Billy.
It
It
wasn't,
wasn't
Billy.
Billy. It wasn't Billy. Even
Yeah.
though Billy could have still been there helping him. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Because you can even make the case, you know what I mean, that obviously, you know what I mean, when Billy found out or whatever, because let's just say, for the sake of argument, Cotton didn't know Marine had a family and a husband. He just thinks this is his girlfriend. And maybe Billy approaches him and shows him the pictures of Marine with his dad and stuff. And Cotton's like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Well, you know what? How do you feel about that, kid? You know, let's do this. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
stuff like that. And they never did say, they said in Scream 3 that she was raped and all that, and they said in Scream 96. But if you wanted to kind of retcon that, you don't know who really raped her. It could have been Stu, it could have been Billy, or it could have been Cotton.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
it definitely could have worked, man. That's a hell of an idea. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, before I saw Scream 3, I was like, "Man, what if he just really just got away with it, man? Like, what if he just
Right?
got away with it and then, like,
That would have been a hell of a twist.
and
That
it."
if there would have been anybody you could trust to pull it off, it was Wes Craven.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Just the way that, he made Billy look like the suspect, and then we were like,
Right?
"Is he?" And then no, and then yes, and
Right?
then he actually did turn out to be, and it's like, "Oh, what if he just did that the whole time with Liv Schreiber with Cotton throughout the entire series?" But, it ain't gonna happen now. It didn't happen, but, it
Right.
would have been really cool. It would have. I think it would have hit harder if that would have happened. Like, oh
Oh
shit.
yeah. It definitely would have. It definitely would have. You know what I mean? I think with Roman's reveal, I think it would have been better if we would have got the Angelina reveal with him.
Hmm.
But I feel like with Roman's reveal, they left a little bit. They left a little bit more to be desired, I guess. In my opinion, like I don't know. It just if the fight scene between them was great. It was fantastic. But like
Yeah.
you said earlier, he did get in his feelings and he was a little whiny and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I would have liked him. I would have liked to see him more kind of like, you know what? I don't give a damn what happens. You know what I mean? I'm glad
Hmm.
it played out the way it played out. You know what I mean? Because if you think about it, it kind of worked out for the both of them. He still ended up rich. He was a director. He had money and
Hmm.
stuff like that. Cindy, even though it was unwarranted and unwanted by her, she's synonymous around the world because of her trauma and what she went through. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it would have just been nice to see that character be a little bit more devious and a little bit more serious.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
will say this: he was funny in that scene where they're on set or whatever before they take him to the police station, and he said, I have no movie, and it seems like I'm the next target. And they're like, you? Why you? And he picks up the statue with the head cut off, and he's like, you don't think this was a message? You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Exactly. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I
That
was
was a
like,
good
oh
scene.
man. But the best one obviously was when, Wallace and Kincaid come in and they're telling him that, the last phone call that came from Sarah Darling was from you. And he's like, someone wants to kill my movie. Someone wants to kill my movie. And Wallace is like, all right, we'll talk about your movie down at the station. This is a scene where you come with us. I'm like,
Yeah.
yo,
Yeah. Yeah. I was
loved it,
surprised. I was surprised that officer, that detective, made it out. Like,
right?
I thought he was going to be one of the killers or get killed. Like,
Right, and he even said that when he's walking through the set with when Sarah got killed with Kincaid, he's like, "Is it?" He said, "Isn't it movies like these where the cops usually die?" And Kincaid was like, "Most of the time,
Yeah.
or sometimes." He said,
Usually.
"Sometimes." Yeah, usually. And then
Yeah.
he just looked at him again and said, "Usually." You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, it was nice to see that he made it. Me and Craven were talking about it the other night, and I want to get your opinion on it. How do you feel about Dermot Mulroney's character? Obviously, we know he's going to be a detective. How would you feel if he has some type of link to Kincaid? Like, what if he before coming to New York, he may have worked in Los Angeles, and he knows who Mark Kincaid is, and may don't work with him, right? And now these new string of murders are happening, and he has a little bit of familiarity with it because of knowing Kincaid, and we get this scene where he calls Kincaid for advice, or he's walking into the office and you see his captain, like Craven had this idea for this one. He walks into the office, his captain hangs up the phone, and they're like, okay, we just got off the phone in Los Angeles with Kincaid, and here goes all the Ghostface files, this and this and this and that, you know what I mean, stating back to 96, 98, et cetera, et cetera. How would you feel about that?
I mean, I wouldn't be mad about it. I mean, more the connection to Kincaid or Dewey or anybody like that, like any of our legacy characters, like the more the better, because that's what I want. I
Right?
want to be more connected. That's what I want this next movie to show us, that this is more connected to the past than the motive that we got and everything that we got in this last movie, because it just felt like
Yes.
some things were
Yes.
shoehorned in. Um,
Right.
I
I
do
feel
like.
like the ending of five. I feel like the ending of five, they just did that as like an homage for Wes, because we know Wes made the original '96 movie based on true events, the Gainesville Ripper. I feel
Mhm.
like the whole toxic fandom thing, they took that from the documentary of the real life Scream killers. Those kids who reenacted and killed one of their classmates, whose name was
Mhm.
Casey. I don't know if you ever heard that story or whatever,
Yeah.
but there was guys who actually did that, and I kind of feel like they got the idea for toxic fandom from that, and obviously like from Reddit and stuff like that. But I felt like that whole Scream documentary of the real killers, that's where they kind of got the idea for Scream 5. That's what I always felt.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I can see that. Uh, I see Caleb Jenkins says, but I see Roman part as well because overall he feels like I'm the reason all this killing in Woodsboro started. I'm the sole survivor. Yeah, yeah. I mean, Roman does get in his feels, but I mean, I think it was coincidence of this how it all spinned off with Billy
Right,
and Stu. I think it was all just a coincidence. But you know, during Scream 3, whenever they were showed Maureen Prescott's uh, headshot, and on the
hmm,
back of it says "I killed her." Immediately,
right,
my brain went to Scream 1996. It's
right,
somebody from the first movie, so that's what I'm trying to figure out here, or it was somebody that was there the whole time. And I
right.
guess that's part of the reason why I was kind of let down with Roman. Was like, I was like, this is an afterthought. I felt like it was an
Right,
afterthought, you know, a little bit with Roman. But you know,
right.
it would have been a lot cooler if
If it was,
somebody,
if it was Liev, if it was Cotton,
yeah, yeah,
you know what I
that
mean?
would
Like
that
that would have been a hell of a twist, man. That's a great idea.
yeah, yeah. I think that would have been awesome. I also I didn't want Dewey to be the killer or anything. I was like, man, they better not be building this up to where Dewey's the killer. Like, you
Right?
know,
I don't
like
know if you've
maybe
seen it, but I
Dewey
know a
had a
couple of
thing with
YouTubers
Maureen.
thought that. I know a couple of YouTubers out there thought Dewey was like the killer, the mastermind throughout
Yeah,
the whole franchise for so long, and I'm just like, no,
yeah,
not Dewey, not Dewey,
yeah.
nah.
Yeah, but you know, I wouldn't have ran it past with Radio Silence, not Wes Craven, but with Radio Silence, possibly because look how much we liked Richie, and then that happened. You know,
Right, right.
they could have thrown some shit in there like, oh yeah, you really like this character? Okay, well now
Yup.
look at him. You know,
Right, man. I really enjoyed Jack Quaid in the Scream 5. He was so good,
yeah, he
so
was.
good.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. He was really good, man.
Hell
He
yeah!
was pretty
Holy
much
shit,
the
it's
standout.
Ghostface!
Yeah, freaking out and stuff
Oh,
like
oh,
that. Like
why didn't you come out or whatever? What do you mean? Why didn't I come out? You're shooting all over the place.
yeah, yeah. I just wanted him to be more menacing. When
Right?
he was kind of a
He was
bitch.
kind of a
Whenever,
whip.
yeah, you know, when he was explaining stuff, and I was just like, oh, come on, man, like
Right?
let's get somebody that is dark and menacing like
Yes.
Billy again, you know, or
Yes.
Mickey. Or even
Yes.
Mrs. Loomis, even though she's not one of my favorites, but like somebody that's serious, you know,
Yeah. Somebody that
that
is serious.
yeah, we're not just a immature, goofy, you know, young adult. You know, I don't know.
Right.
Um,
Right. I agree.
Dino says favorite scene from H2O was when Michael came down from the ceiling one handed behind Lori. Yes, yeah,
Nice.
we just
Yup.
talked about that a little while
Yup.
ago.
Yup.
Yeah, one of the best scenes. I think that was in the marketing too. That was in the trailer.
Yes, it was. It
Yeah,
was.
so
Well,
cool.
actually, it was in the trailer when it was going to DVD and VHS release or whatever. It wasn't
Oh,
in the original trailer. It was in the trailer once it was already theatrically released and they was about to put it on video cassette and
yeah.
DVD. That was the trailer.
They heard everything from the theater and they said, "Oh, they
Yep.
love this scene, so we're gonna throw that
Yep.
on the trailer for the
Yeah,
DVD."
and I remember the voiceover. You know, the guy who does the voiceover for the trailer and stuff. He's like, "Finally, a sequel that lives up to the original," and
Yeah,
shit. And I just remember just fucking popping because that just
yeah,
made me laugh. I'm just like, that
yeah.
was good stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, I hated this, even though it's like, you know, the cat's out of the bag on this, but like, um, them marketing the new Spider-Man No Way Home on Blu-ray and DVD, they just let it be known that the other Spider-Man are in it. There's some people out there that hasn't seen this movie yet. Like,
Right?
that's a big surprise. I mean, most
That
people
is.
have seen it, but don't put something like that in your trailer
Right.
for your DVD because it was such a secret for the theaters. There's some people that can't watch it until it hits Disney Plus or come out on Blu-ray or something. You
Right.
know
And they're
that
undermining the money they can make off of DVDs just because, they made so much at the box office off.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. Someone needs to make a is there a channel out there that someone that goes through all the trailers and just says, one big spoiler? The trailers are the spoilers, and just like breaks it down and just shows like every movie that was like spoiled before the movie came out.
Right?
Like that
Somebody
would be a
should
good
do a
channel.
channel about that. They would get a lot of attention, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. Adriano, I hope Josh would come back in the sequels. Yeah, Josh Hartnett's always great. Always like
Yeah.
Josh Hartnett in The Faculty. Man, that's one of my
Yes.
favorites.
Yes.
Always loved. And dude,
Yeah.
that's what I
we were
want.
we were talking about it the other day. I said I love the fact that Usher was an alien.
Yeah, and they marketed that movie with Usher all over it.
Right?
And I thought he was going to be one of the main characters. I thought he was going to be one of the group. But he was kind of just here and there. But
Yep.
it was great. It was awesome. The cast
really
was on
was.
point.
Oh, yeah.
It was way better than I thought it was going to be. And I always said after I saw that movie and the way those characters felt real and the way they
Yep.
had good chemistry together, and then the way the action was presented and everything, and how they orchestrated like comedy and horror and
Yeah.
suspense and all that stuff. It'd been really cool to get Kevin Williamson and Robert Rodriguez to come and do a Scream movie. Like if you can't do Wes anymore,
Mm.
like if Radio Silence didn't have the job, like Robert Rodriguez, the way they did The Faculty and having all
Right.
those music cues and a great
Right.
soundtrack, and because that's really
Yeah,
was the
man.
focal point, was really the kids coming together. It felt
That was.
that I like
Now that I
that.
think about it, you can make the argument that that same cast gave you the feels that Scream 96 cast gave you.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
they felt
for
real.
sure.
Yeah, they were great actors, great characters, and they spent enough time together to where it was like they got developed. Like I
Right?
think every single one of them got developed in some way before we actually had
Yeah.
the carnage go down. So
Right? No, that remembering that movie. See, I'm going to end up probably watching it after the stream because it's been a little bit. But man, that is definitely a guilty pleasure for me. I remember being a kid. I think I was 9 years old when I went to see that in the theater with my mom or
Yeah.
whatever and stuff like that. Yet my mom is the one who's the culprit to all this. You know what I mean?
okay,
Yeah, she spruced me up real well. So I remember being 9 years old watching this in the movie theater, and I'm just like, whoa, this is really, really good. And then obviously getting older when I understood it, I'm like, man, this is really bomb. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and stuff like that. It's really an underrated film, especially an underrated 90s film, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't think it was marketed right, honestly, because the marketing didn't really do the movie justice. I remember
It
seeing the
did.
marketing, and when I saw the marketing, I was like, "Is this going to be a straight to DVD thing?" Because
Right.
it just seemed like one of those straight to DVD Dimension movies. That was like kind of like a lower
Right.
quality, but like a Dracula 2000 Part 2 or
Yeah.
3 or something.
Young Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
Oh my
It-
God. It's so funny when you look at that movie compared to now or the last 10 years, you would not even think that was him.
I forgot it was him. It's like
I
I didn't
know,
know who
like-
he was at the time.
Right? I think I remember I think it's when he came out with Law Abiding Citizen with Jamie Foxx or whatever. And I remember seeing his name and I'm like, why does that name sound so familiar? And then obviously 300 too. And I'm
Yeah.
looking at him, I'm like, why does that name and that face, like even the face still kind of looks familiar. And then I remember going back and watching Dracula 2000, seeing the end credits that said Gerard Butler. And I'm like, wait, what? You know what I mean? Like, so then I looked it up and I'm like, wow, it's the same Gerard Butler. Holy hell. Like, it's
Yep.
nuts. Nuts.
Yep. And speaking of law-abiding citizen, I just heard that they're going to do a sequel or a prequel. It's either a prequel or a sequel. They're bringing another one back, and Gerard
Okay.
Butler is attached to it, and I think maybe Jamie Foxx too. So I don't know if he survived some way, because he could have. I mean, I don't know.
Oh,
I mean, that'd been pretty crazy, but like I don't know, but they are bringing it back, and so that's a really good movie. That's
that
just,
is a really good movie.
yeah,
Really
yeah,
good movie.
That's a solid blockbuster right there. Like
Yes, it
I
is.
really enjoyed that. But
Yes.
man,
Hell
but
yeah.
man, I would love. I definitely would love to see, because I think the faculty underperformed at the theater, and not a lot of people watched it. You know, it was
Right.
aliens and stuff, so they didn't really know what they were going to get into. But it had a great cast,
Mhm.
everything. I always said that the two properties that I think that would be very awesome as a series is the faculty and Urban Legend. And
Oh,
man,
yes.
the first Urban Legend,
Yes.
I dig that movie a lot.
I
I
do
think it's
too,
a
man.
solid slasher movie. I
Yep,
mean,
it is.
it's better than most slasher movies we ever get. like,
Right?
like
That's
I
a
just
fact, man. That
and they could
is
do a
one of the
lot with
more
both of those.
underrated ones, man. I'm a big fan of the first Urban Legend. Big
Yeah.
fan of it. Love it.
Y- Yeah, me too. Me too. They could do a lot with it. I was so excited to see that they were doing I Know What You Did Last Summer series, and then when I couldn't even get past like the second episode, and I was like, "This, what is I Know What You Did
What
Last
is
Summer about this? Like, no,
right?
this is not it, you know." And
Right.
so
It's
like,
funny because me and Bob did that on. We showcased that on Slasher Sunday. We were talking about I Know What You Did Last Summer franchise, and we were talking a little bit about the TV show. And Bob even said I couldn't make it past the second episode, and I said I endured the punishment for the entire season just to give it a chance to see if they were going a different direction. And they went in so many different directions, you don't even know what they were doing. It's
yeah,
not worth watching. It really isn't. It's terrible.
I looked it up after the series was over. I actually forgot about it, and that's not a good sign.
No,
And
it's
so
not.
once I saw something about it, and they're like, "Oh, we're not going to renew for a second season."
Yep.
Uh, I said, "Oh, well, wait a minute. Well, who was the killer?" So I just kind of like looked it up. I just want to know who the reveal was. So I found out who it was, and I already kind of suspected that from the beginning. Like I was like, it was going to be like one or two people, and it just what I mean, why do that? I don't understand what they were
Right.
thinking. I don't understand what they were thinking. I mean, I can understand with the Scream series, like you couldn't get the original costume back, but at least they tried. You know, they did what they
Right.
could
Exactly.
with a new story, with the new voice. They kept the voice, you know, calling.
Yep.
And they had a costume. You know, they couldn't get the original, but you know, hey, it worked. Um, People accepted it eventually when they realized that the show was actually pretty good.
Right. Exactly, man. Oh man. I remember when I first heard the announcement for Scream the TV series, and I'm like, ooh, this is touchy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Especially being MTV. You know what I mean?
right.
But then I remember hearing Wes Craven was somewhat attached. He gave his blessing and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, well, if Wes is giving his blessing, it has to be good. He's not going to be giving his blessing if it's no good. You
Right.
know what I mean? And I remember the first episode, the first one, I was like, "Yep, up, y'all brought me back for the next week.
Yeah.
I'll be staying tuned."
Yep.
Especially what really hooked me though was how obviously the Scream movie references a lot to Halloween.
Mhm.
What this TV series did was was a lot of Jason with Lakewood, the whole lake view in the back, with Brandon James being deformed and
Mhm.
stuff like that. I like how they really kind of went in that direction as a nice little getaway from homaging Halloween and the original Scream series. I thought that was a really cool way to get different.
You know what I thought that they were gonna do I first saw it, whenever I was first starting to theorize about it and stuff, and um uh I really thought like how he got shot, how Brandon James got shot into the lake.
Hmm.
I was like, hold on, I'm starting to get a little bit of my soul to take vibes here. This isn't gonna be like Brandon James going through people, and then this is like Wes Craven's, you know, they're kind of, you know, they're loosely taking ideas
Yes.
from Wes Craven properties like My Soul to Take, and then I started getting kind of like that Cherry Falls vibe to it as well.
Okay.
And have you ever seen Cherry Falls?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, and I was just like, like I see what they're doing here, but they're playing in this playground, so do whatever you want with it. You know, you're
Right.
intriguing me here, so like I'm coming back. And I was hooked. I was hooked. I liked the series.
Me too,
Honestly,
man.
did. I like the
Me
characters. I
too.
thought
Me
They
too.
balanced well. I thought
Yes.
they were good actors. I was like, man, and they didn't really like hold
Yes, they
back on the
really were.
gore. They didn't.
Oh, I'm about to say the
They
brutality was surprisingly welcoming. I did not expect that.
yeah, yep. Adriana also says, I imagine him hunting Michael to avenge his mother, but as always, everything is restarted. He's talking about Josh Hartnett. Yeah,
Gotcha.
I mean, yeah. That would be great. That would be cool. I
Yeah.
don't know if they do that, they would have to just do their own timeline, I think.
Yeah,
And
I think
maybe
they would have to retcon.
yeah, they would have to retcon and just do another timeline and maybe not mention this David Gordon Green version. I don't
Right.
know. I don't know.
I mean, they did that. That's what David Gordon Green did with the previous sequel, so it's not impossible.
Yeah, that's the new thing though. Not
Yeah.
remakes, not reboots, it's requels.
Yep.
And speaking of that, I really think in Scream 6 we're going to see a lot of advertisement with them being in New York. I think we're going to see a lot of advertisement of the new Stab movie being in production or about to come out. And I think that that's going to be in the universe of Stab. That they requelled all the bad Stab movies, and Richie and Amber's idea actually worked.
Wow.
They wanted to make a new a requel. Because all the sequels sucked. Well, it actually worked for Hollywood, and Hollywood is making a requel on their lives, these new characters' lives, and they're seeing like the version, like in Scream 2, whenever they were seeing the version of Tori Spelling and Luke Wilson and whoever else was playing them, David Schwimmer, whatever. They're gonna see versions of that advertised all over the city. So it's gonna.
Yeah. How would you feel if it was a TV show instead of the movie?
Hey, that would be fun too.
Like,
Yeah. Are you talking about the Stab? Are you talking about Stab being a TV show? Oh yeah. Hey, I wouldn't be mad about it. I wouldn't be mad about it as long as it's not tongue in cheek.
Yeah,
Like
that's just a way they can get different from copying Wes and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do expect to see a new Stab movie and brought up at least in Scream 6.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this: how would you feel, right? Especially with Emma, if Emma does come back, right? Especially, I'll say this: what if we get a Ghostface kill, right? Where they're chasing somebody down a back alley close to Times Square or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And the Ghostface is obviously wearing a camera, you know what I mean? Like has the camera hooked onto them and they're filming, them chasing somebody or whatever.
Yeah.
And when they finally catch them, they kill them or whatever, and they upload the footage to Times Square.
Dude, I thought about that too. Like that'd be crazy.
My God.
Yeah. Or if they just maybe Ghostface has hijacked the morning show.
Ooh, yep.
And he's about to kill Gail and got her all tied up, and he's like tells Joel or whoever's working there, like they hook it up to where everyone can watch.
Everybody's watching live. Oh,
yeah,
man.
And then you got Gail, and this is her big time to die in the middle of the movie or something. And it's like, this is Gail Weathers signing off.
Oh,
cuts her throat. Man.
That'd be perfect. Honestly, that would be a perfect way to do that. If you're gonna kill Gail off, that right there, that would be a perfect way to do it.
Yeah. I mean,
Holy
honestly, like it's a big death scene. And you're making like an image, and now it's global. Because all the news places are going to be picking this up. Like, oh my God, like Gail Weathers just got killed on the air at Times Square. It was broadcast everywhere live, and man, it kind of gives me chills. I'm just like, oh man, like
Oh man, that would be incredible, man. Honestly, that would be. Oh man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hopefully we get that, man. Let's hope at some point Radio Silence is listening to all of us.
Yeah.
Me, you, Craven, all of us, and they're like, you know what? These guys got some pretty damn solid ideas. You know what? We're gonna incorporate this a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
that would be cool. Let's bring them to the writing table.
Right?
Just give me a writing credit. I just want to be on the credits.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Fact.
Vampira's coffin. Busta did die, but test people hated it, so they reshot. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, apparently
Oh,
Busta did die in the original cut, but then the test audiences wanted more Busta Rhymes, so they made him the hero in it. But then
gotcha.
whoever was in those test audiences wasn't like true hardcore Halloween fans, which
Yeah,
so
yeah. They
that
they just wanted to see Busta, break his neck
yeah,
and
yeah.
playing Halloween.
Though
That's all it is.
that had to have been a bunch of like common moviegoers or something, or even critics
Yeah,
that's just like, man, I'm so tired of this movie, but hey, I like this, and Michael's getting his
right,
ass whooped. Let's do more
right,
of that.
right. Yeah. Let's do more of Michael getting watch Chun lead.
Yeah.
Oh
A-
man.
Adriana says, I rewatched Halloween 2018. I noticed a hysteria in the sanitarium when Aaron showed the Michael mask. Maybe the mask is the key. Hey, I've said it in my videos. The mask is the key. Like, that's the title of one of my videos. And I really do think that. I think that was what started all of this, that resurfaced that evil. You saw that all the inmates were just going hysterical. You saw
Mhm.
Aaron even say, "You can feel it, can't you, Michael?" And you see Michael
Mhm.
kind of like
Kind of
lean
lean.
back.
He
He
turned his
kind of
head.
leans towards it, and then it's just like everybody's going crazy. We can't sense it on our level, but they can. They're on a
Yep.
different. They can sense it on a different level, and yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think I don't know if it's going to be Silver Shamrock. I don't know if they will do that because I know that David Gordon Green said he's a fan of that. So who knows if they're going to actually incorporate it.
Right.
They could, or they could just make up something else. They could make up their own thing. They could just make up their own thing, or they could just say like there's something with the mask and that's what's keeping them ticking, and then never even
Right.
explain how it was made or where it was from.
That is true. They
So,
they definitely can go some different avenues with it.
oh, he said I commented this in your video. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, yeah, I definitely do. I think so. I think there is. I think the mask. The mask is the key. I really do. Caleb Jenkins says Maureen Prescott series on Netflix would be awesome. Yeah, you were talking about that right this morning.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Caleb, me and Carrie Crave Cinema. She reached out to me. She said she has off on Thursday. We are actually putting together a fan film project about Maureen Prescott, and we're going to throw some ideas at each other, and hopefully, especially sometime soon, we can put it together, man. I definitely, that's a passion project for me. I've always wanted a prequel of Maureen Prescott's character, so that's definitely something that I am going to be heavily invested in.
Yeah, yeah. That sounds interesting, man. I'm looking
Yes.
forward to seeing what you come up with, and if you need any ideas or anything like
I'm
that.
like I
Sometimes
said, man, I'm definitely going to hit you up, and we'll throw some ideas at each other as well.
yeah. I can get my creative juices flowing.
I know
uh,
that's right, buddy.
Michael going to live. Some people think Michael's going to live. Michael Joe's going to live. Phenomenal idea. Yeah,
It's not impossible. Most likely, I mean, I'll say this. I think he will live. You know what I mean? I think they're going to make it look like he died, and then we are going to get the breathing at the credits or something like that.
yeah, something. What if there's like an after credit scene and like I don't know. Like I always wanted to see Michael make it back to that hospital, and I wanted to see a showdown. A scene where he's going ham on everybody, like hacking and slashing
No.
through the crowds, and like maybe Laurie Strode's on this side down the
Mhm.
hallway, and he's on this side hacking and slashing, and they're both trying to get to each other, and there's just this whole chaos going on.
That would be
Everyone's running
nice.
over each other, and then finally, then they go out at each other because I thought that's what was going to happen. Was like the
And
way,
kills.
yeah,
And
and kills. I
kills.
thought
I
that they
thought
were
so
gonna
too.
leave him like that. They were gonna put him in an ambulance, bring him to a hospital. They're
Yeah.
thinking that he's dead. Everyone's would be shaking the ambulance and trying to get him, but they finally get him into the hospital, and they think he's dead, and he ends up waking up. And yeah, that's what I wanted to see.
Right? It would have been a nice little homage to Halloween Resurrection when they took him to the coroners. The only thing we could hope for, and I'm pretty sure they wouldn't do this, blasphemy, is do what Resurrection did and have him be like, when he opens his eyes and you hear him grunting and all that
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just opens his eyes real quick. I did like the
Yep.
whole melting it on his face a little
I
bit.
did. I did too.
Yeah, but we got that in Halloween Kills. But I still want him to I just wanted him to make it to that hospital. I was like, man, let him wake up at that hospital, and like that's leading into Halloween Ends. Like
Right.
maybe the entire of Halloween Ends is him being loose in the hospital somewhere, and everyone's trapped in there, you know.
Mm,
And he's kind of lurking around. Like it's kind of like a remake of H2 just on steroids, you know.
right.
So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, that's funny because I just saw on Monster Mania site that I think the entire H2 cast will be there, including Jimmy, Lance Guest, and Leo Rossi.
okay.
Yes.
Hell, hell yeah,
I'm
man.
excited. I'm excited to see Leo Rossi. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a fan of his. I love the work he did in Maniac Cop. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Obviously, Halloween 2s. He did some other movies too. He played Joey Buttafuoco's brother in that like true story movie and all that. Like I'm a fan of Leo Rossi, and what I want to do is I want to pay for a video or whatever and stuff with him and me singing "Amazing Grace." Come sit on my face. Don't make me cry. I need your pie. Like I want
Wow.
that. I
Yeah.
do. I want that shot. I do.
That would be awesome, man.
Hell
That'd
yeah,
be
man.
awesome. Um, yeah. Some actors, it's really up to them. Like they'll do video calling and or they'll
Right.
do like a video message, and some of them won't. Like,
Okay.
but most of them are pretty cool, man. I mean that would definitely be. Have they ever came to one of your conventions up close to you?
No.
No.
I know there's one that comes. There's one that goes to like outside of Pittsburgh. That's like 3 or 4 hours away from me or whatever. Steel City Con. Steel City Con.
Yeah.
I
I've
know
heard of it.
about that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know about Steel City Con, but that's in Monroeville, PA as well. That's the only two parts in PA, maybe other than Philly. And I've tried looking at Philly, and it don't seem like they have a lot of like horror cons come there neither.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's one pro for me. That's why I'm moving to Texas, man. Is like so I can get more involved with Texas
Right?
Frightmare, and like, dude, it was really cool, man. Like people like noticed me there, and I was like, whoa, really?
Yeah, bro.
Like I was like, man,
Heck,
this is cool. Like
heck yeah, man. And that's the beautiful thing about especially going to them cons is like you can rent yourself a booth and you can promote your brand and stuff like that and all that. And people, especially if they're like especially on YouTube, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. If they notice you, they'll show you love, man. That's one thing about Horror Hound Weekend in Cincinnati. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody was just so nice, so cool, so welcoming and shit like that. Like, it's we definitely have a really good community across the board.
oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You're going to Monster Mania, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not quite sure if I'm 100% going to be able to go or not, but
Okay.
I just got to get situated first, and then I
Gotcha.
can start thinking about
Absolutely.
stuff. Just I got too many irons in the fire.
Right. I know that's right, man.
Yeah, just one thing at a time. But yeah, I'm
Yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
I've never even been. It's in New Jersey, right?
Right. Yep. Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
Never been, man. I always wanted to go. So yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
awesome to hang
I've
out.
been to Wildwood, but not Cherry Hill. So it's definitely gonna be an interesting experience.
Yeah, yeah. My wife, she keeps on wanting me to go on a trip with her. She's been to Boston a couple times. She loves
Nice.
Boston, so I'm
Nice.
sure.
Hell
I'm
yeah,
sure I'm gonna
man.
make it up that way sometime soon. Sometime soon.
I know that's right, man. Hey, you know what I mean? When you find time, brother, you find time. Take that trip, man.
Yeah, and I've always heard from like older people that they always say when if you want to travel when you're young, because when you're older it's you can't do as much, and
Right?
so travel when you're young. So that's what I'm trying to do. Like,
I know
I-
that's right, man. I'm the same way. I even said it like with my jobs and stuff. Like, look, it's no disrespect, but when I'm going to these events and stuff like that, I don't take off work anyway and
yeah,
stuff like that. When I want to go to these events and take a weekend off, one way or another I'm going. So it's
yeah,
either you're going to give it to me or you're going to probably fire me. So
yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
And they have
You
to
know
have
what I mean?
grounds on that too. So
Right?
just make sure you're
Right?
within policy and you're good.
Right? Exactly.
So yeah, man, trust me, I I've worked in administration for a long time, and I'm just like, no, nah. Like I try to be cool with everybody, but that jobs will, man, they'll make you feel obligated and like, no, you can't take off. Well, actually, okay, well then I guess I'm gonna be sick. Call in a sick day
Right.
if you're not gonna, let
Right,
me off.
exactly. And that's the biggest thing. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like you gotta let people have their serenity. You know what I mean? That's one thing I
Yeah.
always said. If I had my own business and I had employees and stuff, if somebody comes up to me and says, "Hey Marcus, I need a break for a weekend or whatever, you know what I mean? If you can grant me a request off, yeah, go ahead, man. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
understand. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit there, you know what I mean, tell you no.
Yeah. You need some time off. Sometimes people just need some time off. Like that's just
Right,
the way it is.
absolutely, man. You
And if
need
you got
that
the
release.
time,
Just like
do it.
Right, just like Dennis Rodman. I'm watching the Last Dance documentary. Dennis Rodman, in the middle of a playoff series or whatever, decided to skip practice and take a trip to Vegas. And he went to coach and said, "Look, you want the best version of me, man? I gotta let loose. You gotta let me go." Phil Jackson let him go. The next game, he came in and grabbed like 5 blocks and 20 rebounds.
Wow.
Like, yep, it's crazy. Like, you sometimes when you let people just go and do them, you know what I mean? Their performance actually is better, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably gonna have to wrap it up here soon and
Sure.
call it a
Yep.
night.
Yes, sir.
It's already after midnight, but we'll
Yes.
go through these through the comment section
Chat.
real quick. Yeah, and then probably gonna head out. I'm gonna get some rest because I got to be back up. Got another stream in the morning, and
I know
and
that's right, buddy.
got to get my day started.
I know that's
So,
right. I got to do the same thing. I got to get some. I want to get a. I'm not gonna do a spoiler review on Men. I'm gonna do a non-spoiler review, just given the nuances, what I like about the movie. And so I got
Yeah.
a couple other videos I want to upload. And then, like I said, tomorrow, me and Bob got Hatchet for watch party and stuff. So
I'm gonna check them out, man. I'm definitely gonna check them
yeah,
out. And I need to that this weekend I'm probably gonna try to rent Men, try to watch it or buy it. Sometimes those movies that just get released, they're like, to rent them is like $20, and for like to buy it, it's
yeah,
like
it's
25.
expensive.
And it's like I might as
It's
well just buy the
expensive.
movie so I can watch it
Yeah, right.
how many times I want or when I want.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly, man.
they do that on purpose.
Oh yeah, they do. They definitely
Um,
do.
Vampire says, well, funny thing, Cotton wasn't supposed to die in Scream 3. He was almost going to be an OG character, but he wanted to be killed off. Yeah, that's what I thought I heard.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
yeah. It's funny you did mention that.
it still would have been cool to see him being like,
Oh yeah.
actually,
Yeah,
alive.
it would have been nice to see him in the movie more.
Yeah, it would have. The Aiden says the comedy in Scream 3 is hilarious. Yeah, that's one thing. Okay, I want to touch on this real quick. Is like a lot of people, they complained about the comedy in Scream 3, and I was also like, oh, it's very Scooby-Doo-esque. It's very kind of tongue in cheek. Doesn't take
Yeah.
itself too serious. Does have its serious moments. Does have some cool moments and great ideas, but then everybody just accepted the comedy in Scream 4. I just didn't understand, like, oh, they're
Yeah.
praising this over here, but they hate
you're gonna
that.
bash this. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just like, both of them had their great ideas for what they were. But the more I watch Scream 3, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it more every time I watch it. I'm just like, that was
Me
an
too.
easy watch. That was a fun.
Yeah.
That was, and I think it's just the time and day that we are today. Like the type of content we get a lot of whodunits now. If you
Right.
haven't noticed that, we get a lot of like comedy horror, like whodunits.
We do.
Like,
We do.
Knives Out, murder mystery,
Yep.
stuff like that. It's just like, so we're more accepting to this type of humor. So
Right.
and Scream has always been ahead of its time. It
That
always
is
has.
true.
So yeah, but yeah, Scream 3, it is hilarious. It does have some great moments. Maybe
Yeah, it
take out the explosion house.
Right.
And maybe Jay and Silent Bob, and I think people would take the movie a little bit more serious.
Right. Jay and Silent Bob, gotta love it.
yeah. And then they always marketed the movie like Dewey was gonna die, and that's what I thought they were doing with the new Scream movie. But you know, like the knife flipping through the air and then the back of it hitting
Yeah,
them in the head. Like I think that was just like everybody was like, oh, rolling their eyes, like what the hell, like
yeah,
yeah,
that scene was kind of like I'll
yeah,
admit to that. I didn't really care for that scene too much.
yeah. Scream 3 could have been borderline without some of the f bombs. It could have been PG-13, honestly.
Really, it could have. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Um, Aiden says Jack Quaid was so good, and I wish he wasn't a ghost face, but that's how good his performance was to me. Yeah, yeah, we touched on that too, Aiden. We
Yep,
agree with you.
agree.
Like,
Agreed.
he could have been a great. I honestly thought that Wes or Richie was going to live, one or the other. I thought they were going
Right,
to be our new Randy or our new final guy that was going to be a part of the trio or something. You know, like
right.
we need a guy that fills that void. And I guess we do have Chad,
Hmm.
but you know, I don't know, just Richie. I feel like we need more time with Chad. We need we
Right,
need
we
some
do.
alone. We need some alone time with Chad to build that.
Yeah, to build
Yeah,
that chemistry.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. To understand him more, and I think we might get that. We might get a more down and out Chad, like you know, knowing that he can't be a football player anymore, and he's
right,
you know he's at college and he's watching the football players play, and he's on the sideline just kind
right,
of in crutches or something, you know, or just with a
right.
limp like Dewey.
I didn't think about that. That's an interesting story arc.
Yeah, I think that's how they should introduce him. If they're going through the characters and they're introducing everybody, I think
Right.
that the camera should. I always think about like camera shots and stuff, but the camera should be like on a football practice right there next to the school, and then the camera just kind of pans back and Chad comes into focus and he's kind of on crutches
Nice.
against the gate, just watching
Right.
them and reminiscing and wishing what he could, and then he kind of just goes off screen, and then you know
Yeah.
we get to know him a little bit more. But
Right. I agree with that. That could definitely work.
yeah, yeah, or maybe he's sitting up in the stands, you know, and just
Yeah,
watching
in
it
the
and wishing.
bleachers, just watching them and just reminiscing on what could have been.
Yep, yep. Yeah, I think they need to do that. I still like his comedy chops though. I kind of
Oh
want him
yeah.
to still have his sense of humor a little bit.
Right. Heck yeah.
Um, yeah. Aiden says 30 Days of Night is an awesome vampire film with Josh Hart. It definitely is. I like 30 Days of Night. Have you ever seen that?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
The original 30 Days a Night with Hartnett in it is
Yeah.
really good. The
Yeah,
other
it
ones
is.
just kind of got cheesy after a while.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of the ones after that,
Yeah.
but yeah, I remember really liking that. That's the type of vampire movies I want to bring back is
Right.
old school vampire horror. Like let's get vicious with it. Let's bring back the Lost Boys or something, like
Yes.
you know,
Oh man, I really would love the Lost Boys back.
I know that movie's special to me. Like I used to
It
watch the
is,
movie like
man.
crazy.
Right.
Uh, uh, let's see here. Aiden also says Wes Craven's Muscle to Take. I really enjoy that film. Yeah, yeah. It wasn't Wes Craven's best movie in my opinion. It had its
No.
flaws. It had some great ideas, but I felt like I don't know if it was the editor or if it was just it didn't come together right or what. But there were certain things that just kind of took me out of the movie. But there were some great ideas, and I do appreciate it. I appreciate everything.
Yeah.
At least Wes Craven's
It was
always
watchable. It was watchable.
yeah, 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 yeah. What was that movie? And I thought it was going to be like this movie, like My Soul to Take. But what was that movie that came out not too long
Drag Me
ago?
to Hell.
No, 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 no. Came out like last year, and it came out right before the theaters shut down, so it had to go to streaming, and then nobody saw it. What was that movie? And there was on the trailer. It was like, it wasn't the Goodbye Man or the Bye Bye Man. Was it something?
Slender Man.
No, not Slender Man, but you're almost there. It's close to that. It's Don't Say His Name or something like that, or
Don't
man,
Breathe.
not
No,
Don't
no,
Breathe.
no, 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 no.
No, no, no.
Hold on, let
Oh
me search.
man, I'm trying to look it up. I'm trying to remember what it was, but
Yeah.
such a cool movie, man. It has some really good twists in it. Really good movie. But there's a scene where these teenagers are on The Empty Man. Yeah, Aiden knew it. Yeah, Aiden.
Okay. Okay.
Have you seen The Empty Man?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, find this movie and watch it as soon as you can, dude. Like
Okay,
it
I'll watch
goes
it
in.
after the stream.
The trailer doesn't even tell you everything. You're just kind of like, okay, this kind of seems like maybe it's a Bye Bye Man movie or My Soul to Take, but like
Right.
the first like 20 minutes of the movie or maybe even 30 minutes is like the opening scene. Like you're
Oh,
following,
wow.
yeah, you're following these people in that's like if I can remember correctly, they were like backpacking or hiking through something, and then they come across. I'm not gonna tell you. But stuff happens,
right.
and then
I'm
it jumps to
watch it.
present time, and it's got some great twists, man. You,
Heard.
man,
Yeah,
it's got
I'm
some
gonna
creepy.
check that out.
Yeah.
That sounds like it's good. The Empty Man. That just sounds something like it's cool.
It did not get the recognition that it deserved, man. It was so good. It was so good. And it's not so much of a slow burn. It does have a little bit of that, but it always keeps you interested, and it's always got that mystery element to it. Like, what the hell is going on now?
Oh
So
yeah, that's definitely I'll watch that because I like that type of movie.
yeah, yeah, definitely check it out. Yeah. Aiden
Real
also
quick,
says
I'm
that.
gonna run to the bathroom real quick, buddy. Just keep going. I can still hear you.
Sure. The Empty Man is a really good film. Perfect double bill with My Soul to Take. Yeah, definitely agree with that, Aiden. Aiden is on it tonight. Yeah, we think alike. We definitely think alike. Screaming for Conrad also says it's really good. It is good, Conrad. Like I forgot about it until we just started talking about My Soul to Take, because just that trailer reminded me of My Soul to Take, because the teenagers that were on the bridge and they were talking about the legend and all that kind of stuff. So I thought it was going to take that type of approach, even though it didn't. But yeah, it is really good. It's definitely really good. It's a shame that it came out at the time when all the theaters shut down. Some baby back bullshit. But guys, Conrad, I see you here. Screaming for Conrad. What was a horror movie that y'all saw that had so much potential but didn't connect with y'all?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. And we're probably going to end it on this, guys.
Yeah.
I'm going over midnight. Kind of need to call it a night and get to bed. Got to get up early. But
honestly, now that I think about it, it's easy for me. The original Blair Witch Project.
Okay, that's a good one.
I had so much built up, as especially being a kid, for that movie, and even as an adult, when I watched it later, I tried to like get into it, and I couldn't do it. That was so disappointing. I thought it had so much potential. I'll put it this way: the remake, I liked the remake. I thought that was actually pretty good. I enjoyed the remake. I wish the original was like the remake was. I thought that was a really good way to explain what that being was, and they actually showed what it was.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I enjoyed that.
You actually got to see something.
Yes, exactly. The original Blair Witch, yeah, that just, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I'm still sitting here like bashing my brain, like trying to think of something that just didn't connect with me. Man, let's see. It's a movie that had so much potential. I know there's some out there. I'm just not in that headspace. I'm just kind of like drawing a blank right now. But man, Blair Witch is a very good pick. I kind of feel the same way on that.
Yeah, man.
I would say a Nightmare on Elm Street remake. So much potential. It did not connect with me, but I don't think it connected with a lot of people. It had potential. There's a good movie in there somewhere. It just choppy, bad CGI, and just I think a little bit of miscasting. Like it felt just jumbled up. It was like cool ideas.
Right.
They wanted to get from point A to point B.
Right.
But it just didn't flow. There was no balance to that movie.
And it's not a knock on Jackie Earl Haley. I like Jackie Earl Haley. I just don't think he's meant for Freddy.
No, he's a great actor, but just he's miscast. It happens.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
It's just like it can happen to the best of actors, you know, like, you know, it's like I don't know, like you could see somebody like Tom Hanks in something, and you'd be like, oh man, that's really miscast. But he knows his
Right.
target audience, and he goes for those Oscars, those types of movies.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
but yeah, it happens. I'm pretty sure Jackie
Does.
or Haley got paid hefty sum for that though.
Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, Aiden
No
says, and
doubt.
we'll end it here. Uh, Elm Street remake was total garbage and completely disowned by Wes Craven. Craven's response film Scream 4 was pretty damn good. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I don't know if Wes Craven did he come on record and say anything like he disowned it, or I don't remember him bashing it.
Me neither.
I don't really remember him bashing it. I think he made it a point to not bash it, but yeah, you really don't want to, if you give someone your blessing, and you're just like, yeah, do what you want with it. I appreciate whatever you do with it, or they just respect it. They respect what your vision lets you do. You, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. It doesn't mean that I disown you or I think your product is a piece of shit. Like I think real artists and real actors, like, they don't like to bash on one another. They kind of support each other. Like, I think that's just the way things go. Nathaniel Fincher is questioning something. I'm not quite sure. Did I miss something? Oh, he does have a question up here. I'm sorry, man. Hey guys, what's the earliest movie you can remember seeing in the theater? I'll let you go first, and then we're gonna call it a night, guys.
The earliest movie I can remember seeing in the theater. It's a good question. Scream 2.
That's
That
the
was the
earliest one?
first. That was the earliest one, 1998. That was the first movie that mom took me out to see, and then after that, yep, because Blair Witch came out in '99 or whatever. So yeah, that preceded it or whatever and stuff. But yeah, Scream 2. I didn't see Scream '96 in theaters. Mom had the VHS tape, and that's how I saw the original. And that's why after watching that, I made it a point for mom to take me to see Scream 2 in the theaters.
Awesome.
Yes.
Man, I'm gonna show my age on this one. Jurassic Park.
Nice.
I was a kid. We went as a family. I remember, and I was too young to really appreciate everything that was going on the movie. But I love that movie. But it's just that's the earliest movie I can remember sitting in the theater, and I remember everyone making it such a big deal. Dinosaurs on screen. Everybody wanted to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah,
there could have been an earlier
Jurassic
one.
Classic.
Yeah, I could have been to the theaters with my family before that, but that's the one I remember being the youngest.
Nice.
So what was that?
Nice.
What Jurassic Park was what, 93, 94?
Yes, 93.
93. So okay, I was 86. So yeah, I was like 6-7 years old.
Yep, 6-7 years old. Yep.
Yep. So yeah, that's the earliest movie I remember. So it's a good first experience. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Good first experience. But guys, yeah, that's gonna be it for tonight. We're gonna call it quits there. I got to get up early. It's on about 30 minutes over. But man, thank you, Marcus, for coming on.
Buddy. Thank you for having me, my friend.
Yeah, everybody. If you haven't already, go to I Shot Him 6 Times channel. The link is in the description. It's just a quick click away, and subscribe to his channel. He does videos on Michael Myers. He's got some reviews coming up,
yes,
and really great content over there. So yeah, we're definitely gonna. I'm definitely gonna have you on again, Marcus. Like this.
Yes, and yes, you can. We definitely can make it a plan for you to come on my channel as well, buddy.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just let me know. We'll work something out, a time, and I'll be there, bro. Yep.
All right, buddy. Sounds good to me.
Yep. So well, I'm gonna go ahead and say good night to everybody, and I guess I'll see you backstage here in a minute. And
all right, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Y'all have a good one. Mine was all dogs go to heaven.
That's great.
Yeah. Good night, everybody. See y'all tomorrow. Want some Scream with your coffee, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Peace.